Hello, interwebs. Is I back? I think I's back. Well, let's get rid of our Squirrel Gate. Let's go from Squirrel Gate to Hula Gate. How is everybody? How is sound? How is everything? Because, I will, of course, have technical issues because I always do. It's what I do. All right, getting set up here. I got a little screen here so I can see what's going on. New glasses. They're actually old glasses that I have got fixed because they are just for, computer and reading and stuff. And I kind of stepped on them. So I've had them fixed. But they've had to sort of solder them into place. So they're not as bendy anymore. So I'll break them again very soon. I even have my old ones as standby just in case these ones don't work for me today. I've got my other ones, which are grade 8, where they're graded or whatever it is. So you've got they're granny glasses basically. You got the magnification at the bottom, and then you look up and it corrects that vision. But I think I'm close enough to everything here that I'm able to see everything. Hello, Techniques. I should do a thanks to Mineral. 4 months. It has been 4 months already. It's amazing, isn't it? Talking about time going fast. My son is 13 today. 13 years old. What the heck happened to there, huh? Oh, the battery went flat on I had a nice little light on the Stargate. I seem to have lost it. But a delicious cup of coffee. Speaking of light, do we want some light on me? Is that helpful? Not really. Good God. Turn that. God, I'm much better in darkness. Dark Rogue. Good morning to you. Spinnabreaker. Larkyash. Howdy to you. Gamebuster 37. No, it's March Day 2019, I think it is. What's that? Hello, lovelies. How goes the day? This is a river song, and I say it goes well. We had a lovely morning, a little birthday sing song to start the day. The dog leapt on the bed dutifully with a little ribbon tied around her neck because the joke is that was his present. Because, damn it, I really did not want another dog. I mean, I love this dog very, very much, and my wife is out walking her right now. But I just didn't want another dog. I mean, I loved Mars to bits. Absolutely loved him, and I miss him terribly, the old mutt. But I just didn't feel like we needed that extra hassle in our lives. And boy, it's a hassle. I love it. Again, I love it. I love the dog. I love having it around. It comes and cozies up on the bed and stuff. Hey, Cal. Uh-oh. Cal, what are you testing? Is Cal testing new hammers? Hey, Mechberg. Thank you very much. 3 months. Wow. JC Slicer's here. We've got Lady Shelley. We've got Starmaster. We've got Parsival. Hello, Parsival. Hapshade. Hello. Offset. It jaws back. I'll never get around to everybody. How's it going today for you? And happy birthday, Baz. Thank you, Jaws Matt. So Baz, yes, 13. Jane played a horrible joke on him, which I tried to talk her out of. Didn't try that hard. As a joke on Jane's birthday, Baz gave her a little. One of the things that she wanted, which we felt was not. Which we felt was sort of a luxury that we couldn't afford, was a new sofa. And we were, because sofas are ridiculously expensive. I would just buy a futon. What are they called? Futon. I never know how to say it. I always make it sound so much more exotic than it really is. So I don't care what I sit on as long as I can sit on something. I've got, look at me. I got yoga balls and an old office chair. That works for me. But Jane is rather particular about the look and style of her sofa. So we have a sofa that in the last 10 years, we got a new one. In my mind, it's a new sofa, but in her mind, it's an old one. So one of the things we did for a present for her was to basically sort of give her the go-ahead to buy a new sofa and maybe possible little, seats and stuff to go with it. But how do you represent that in a gift when the reality is there's no way Baz and I are going out to buy a sofa together for Jane because we would return with a futon or something cheap and cheerful. Cheap, studenty, and cheerful. So what we did was I printed out a little 3D print of a little pink sofa, and I put it in a box and then the box we used that Baz chose was an old iPhone box. So his idea was, she'll think she's getting an iPhone, she'll be disappointed, and then she'll open it up and see that there's a sofa there. So we cut all the little uh, foam around it so that it perfectly fit the sofa. And anyways, we did the same thing to Baz today. It was Jane's idea to get him back. So we did a little cutout. I did a little 3D figure of Huzzah, the dog, not specifically Huzzah, but a sort of a husky mixed dog. I printed it out last night, to cleaned it up a bit, and then cut a little shape for it, put it in, and we put it in an earpods box. The only problem is, as I pointed out to Jane, he really wanted earpods, or AirPods, whatever the hell they're called, the iPhone hearing things, headphones. That's the word I'm looking for. The wireless earphones. So of course his little face was like, he thought, oh my God, they bought me earpods. And I was like, no, we didn't. And then he opens it up and there's this little dog in there. So he's quite thrilled with the little dog. He doesn't know what's coming. He's got a present coming, which was a bit late because we had a sort of family discussion about it, whether it should have been purchased or not, Jane and I. So I won, just saying. So that's on its way. Hello, Soda Crafter. How are you? Oh, wow. I managed to get Ronan a bike for his birthday. Shockingly. All the stores have been cleaned out of them for months here. His River Song. Yeah. Don't talk to me about bikes. Stupid bikes. My bike got stolen. Hey, I have a question. Does anyone know if there's So I've got these Wyze cameras. WYZE cameras. I got a bunch of these security cameras for the house because someone tried to break in a little while back and they stole my bicycle. They stole my favorite bicycle. They stole my 40th birthday present bicycle. I'm just saying. It was a good bike. I've done well by that bike. Anyways, hello Starg. Hello Miss Lintz. Hello the Mist. What is the mystery something? What is it? What is that? It's a cool sounding name. Mysterious sounding name. Aaron Cross. Oh, it's cold, is it? C'est froid? En France, France est froid. Is that right? I think I got that right. France is cold. Smug, I one look. I like it. The smug I one look. That's yeah. So what is this? The mystery, Mr. Freeze. The Mr. Freeze! A big kiss from France, Dr. McKay. We love you. Merci beaucoup pour le baiser. Au France? Or from France? Au France? Yeah. La baiser, le baiser? I think it's le, maybe. Le baiser au France. Merci beaucoup. J'adore la France. Aussi. My bike lives in the locked garage. Yeah, that's where my new bike will live. Actually, it won't. It'll be an old bike. I think my dad's get it. My dad has upgraded his bike to a one of these e-bike things. Not actually an e-bike, but an e-assist bike, which looks really cool. And I will share with you that I thought perhaps I might do the same for myself, but they are really expensive, and we're sort of trying to save money right now because COVID and all. So I didn't get myself a new e-bike, but what I did in fact get was my father's old bike. So like the son I've always been, I got the hand-me-downs from my dad. So I got my dad's hand-me-down old rally bike, which he used to just embarrass the hell out of us with because he used to, first off, he rode a bicycle before it was cool to work every day. And he was one of the first people I've ever seen who wore a helmet, which of course was just excruciatingly painfully embarrassing to me as a child. And then he started making us wear helmets, which was even worse. So I just stopped riding my bike. But he had this old bike, and what he used to do is he would buy quite nice bikes because it was his mode of transportation, and I think it was sort of a worthy investment. But in order to not get the bikes stolen, he used to paint them rusty. Like literally paint them rust color so it looked like they were just falling apart. So his bikes always looked like crap, but were actually quite nice bikes. So that's not a bad idea, really. If you don't really care about what it looks like, it's not a bad way to go. Can't see Wyze on the PC. You can't. Oh, that sucks. Really? So Wisik, so Wyze, there's no app or wireless, there's no sort of web interface for the Wyze on a PC, Cheryl Cohen. Is that right? That really sucks because it's so cool. I mean, that you can actually see these things. I don't know why I wanted to show you, but I just thought it was kind of neat what you can see with these things. See if I can pull up the app. Maybe you can see it that way. All right, I've been listening to my favorite songs on Amazon. So, all right, what do we got? Oh, they got thermostats now too. This is the problem: is they keep coming up with all these new, cool new things. Ooh, a Wise Cam outdoors. So my cameras are actually outdoors now. Um, yeah, so hopefully that'll work. Baz helped me yesterday put them up, begrudgingly, I might add. I don't want to shop. I want to go back to my home. I want to go to my events. I want to go to my cameras. Where are they? Home. There we go. So I've got this kind of cool. I don't think we see anything that you shouldn't see here. We'll see. Um, so you could see. So for example, I've got like a back alley here. See if you can see this. Um, see if you can actually watch them. You can watch people go by in a second. Um, here we go. We're gathering data. It's a little ways away, and I think it's got to go through China on the way back or something because it's all, it's all sort of cloud based. But you can actually sort of get a sense of look at this. I mean, how cool is that? It's pretty great. On my phone, at any point, oh, I guess I should go back a bit. At any point on my phone, so that's the back alley. So I can see who's playing, who's using our basketball net. Which I'm fine with. I can see. Oh,
someone is at the front door.
There you go. Someone's at the front door. I better go let them in. You know who that is? That is Jane coming back from the dog walk. I'll be back in 1 second. Please talk amongst yourselves. I will go back to the squirrel cam until I'll be back. 2 seconds. Security being my primary concern. Yes, security, my primary concern. So I've locked. That's why I locked my wife out of the house. I'm back. So yes, so Jane has returned from her dog walk. Just so everyone knows. Jane does Jane likes to do the first dog walk of the day. I very much don't like doing the evening one, but I do enjoy. I do enjoy it once I'm out there. To be honest, I listen to my podcasts. I get to listen to my This Week in Tech podcasts and my. What else do I like watching? Strangely, I like listening to SGU, which is the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe. It's a fun podcast for everybody, and weirdly, suitable in its naming. David, what is hanging behind you? What? Robot arm. I still haven't figured out how to do this with. I've got a robot arm up here that does for moving cameras around. I'll show you in a sec. I shall show you in a moment once I've got it up and running. So I have another camera angle that I can throw up here if I want to. I have the power. But it does creep everyone out, right? Mine are Wise pan cameras. Oh, I wanted to get the pan ones. They're just kind of expensive. So I went with the cheapest possible because I'm a cheap bastard, especially nowadays. Is that what I want? Is this the one that I want? Is this it? It is. So look at that. So basically, if I do this, I can put this over here. You shall see it. It will be wonderful in every way. And I guess I should move that to the other window then. I see. Everything's being rearranged now. So if I go to here, oh God, it's like so confusing seeing it from there. So if you want to see what's going on, I can share with you camera 3. Let's just go to that, which is this one. So so yeah, so you get a great shot of my bald spot. But I mean, oh God, it really is. Look at that. It's because I got a 13-year-old. Kind of like maybe I should shave that out a bit more and go like full Friar Tuck with it. So so that's a camera on my ceiling. I will point this up at it as well, so you can have a see what's going on. Let me just. I got another camera here. I shall focus on that. Yes. So once that adjusts a bit, so there's a camera up here. There's a camera up here. Hello. This is the bottom. So there's a little camera up here. This hanging down is just the controls for this robotic arm. And the idea basically is that I can control it. And of course, if I switch back to this one, you can see, there you go, I've got control over the camera. I can sort of adjust it a bit, I can move things around. What I'd like to do, and I've got it going here, is get the Arduino on this. You plug the Arduino directly into the arm, have a little Wi-Fi connection on it, and I should be able to control it. Or maybe even have it come through the computer. Oh, that'd be even better. Anyways, lots of things to do. As always, many, many plans and very little time to do them. I still haven't built a 3D printer that I went to do ages ago. Where are we now? Let's see what we're looking at. What are we looking at now? Let's bring this back down for you, for your viewing pleasure. Here we go. That's me, sort of. Go back up here. I gotta do my focus. Mustache. God, that mustache has got to be crisp. Oh, look at that mustache. Magnificent. All right, what do we got? So, Wise pan cameras. Yeah, they would be lovely. I can't get over how cheap they are. Probably because they're stealing all my data or something. I'm just about to set up the new Wise outdoor cam. It's supposed to be able to withstand. See, I couldn't get them, Cheryl Cohen. I tried to get them, but they were sold out already. That was very Clouseau. Ah, mais oui. Is that your dog? Does your dog bite? The knees don't like hiking, but biking hasn't bothered at all. Oh, good, Pac Mom. Good to know. Hello, Pac Mom, by the way. Nethalis is saying hi to Shelley. Who else we got? Sci-Fi, Sadie, show us your robots. The robots are always there. I mean, basically I am showing you robots. I always listen to podcasts when I'm out walking the dog. Just takes them out a little better when Portland's rain. Yeah, I have this like obsession with wasting time. Like I just feel like every minute I could be learning something. I should be learning something. So that's sort of what I do. There's a Tech Bandit project. Convert your robot arms to computer controlled over Wi-Fi so you don't have to control the box. Yes, exactly. I don't want that control box hanging. I want a nice little what'll be instead will be an Arduino hanging from the ceiling. Room looks different every stream. Is that just me? Might be just you. It could also be that I move I'm constantly organizing, or disorganizing as my wife would probably call it. This table moves around. It's on wheels. I put it on wheels so you can actually sort of move it around. Makes it just sort of great. I'm thinking about getting rid of that little setup and putting in a much larger table so I've got another space to work with. Yes, the bald spot camera. I love that. James is also, we'll just call it the bald cam. It's Baldy Cam. They have those things about like bald eagles where they can watch them. They can just watch me. We still got a gift of a cameo message from Joe Flanagan. Would be cool to have him on a watch party. How does that work, Starg? How does this cameo thing work? Do you like it? Mr. Clean, you missed all that. It was the reason why we have they're not actually new glasses. They're old glasses that have been repaired. You might see a Huzzah sighting. Wait a second. Let me see if Huzzah comes by the windows. It's possible you may get a Huzzah sighting if I switch to camera 4. Let's just see if we get a Huzzah. Oh, I could sort of see. Is that her at the back there? Should we have a look? We got her? Let's see if we've got her or not. Yeah, sometimes she comes right up to the camera and says hello. Often because she's sniffing for rats or whatever she's hoping to come across in the process. There is a rather large rodent of unusual size, a ROUS, that sort of waddles by once in a while. I don't see her. I think she's sticking to the left side, I think. All right, David. Yes, I've heard. Stuck in a hotel quarantine. Maybe you should join him for Saturday watch party. Yeah, exactly. Doing what? He's not allowed to go anywhere. That's the whole point. Read a message for a fee. He basically read a message for a fee. My realtor gave us a congrats on a new house message. There are a lot of celebs out there, and they charge whatever they want. It was cool and a bit surreal. But I'm here right now. I can do it right now. What do you need? All right. Tell us a funny story. Tell us a funny story. I should tell you. I will tell you one story about a thing I was working on recently, and I may have already told you this story, but I had a scene to do with some fairly famous people, and and I was sort of suitably intimidated, and the scene involved me leaving a room in a huff, and then because that's what I do, basically leaving in a huff, and then they would reset. I would come back, And every single time I tried to get back into the room, the door was locked. And it was a big glass uh, office, basically, with three of these beautiful doors. And the only one that was open was the one at the far end. So I would try this door that I've just left, and it would be locked. I'd go to the next one. It was locked as well. And then so I have to walk all the way around, and I would go to the last one and come back in again. And this happened over and over and over again. I thought, is this some kind of like COVID protocol where they just want us going one direction? I'm thinking that must be what it is. After literally, no kidding, a few hours of this, I look over, and there's one of the grip guys, holding up a light. And he looks at me and he goes, and I'm like, and then I was like, oh, and I go to the door and I push it. And of course, the doors are all push. Which I should know, given that I've just pulled the door open in frustration and then left again. But I was trying to pull the door open, and of course, it didn't work. So I literally spent, I don't know how many hours in this glass room. People watch these famous people, famous, cast and crew, Oscar contender, not even Oscar winners in some cases, actually numerous cases, watched me make an idiot of myself. I blamed the COVID brain. I blamed my COVID brain for it. But literally for hours, I tried to get in a door. All I had to do was push. So there you go. There's your funny story, damn it. Dance, monkey, dance, you say, and I dance. Idara the Arcane. That's a good name. Star Master. What have we got here? Starg. He could zoom in for the watch party. I don't know if he does that kind of stuff, does he? He's been doing daily streams on Instagram. I've seen the odd one now and again. Looks like he's having fun with it. It's nothing like a pandemic to really force those antisocial actors, those non-social media actors, out into the open. All right, no one said anything to you. No one said anything to me, Lady Shelley. Not a thing. No one was probably noticing, to be honest. Because again, I think when you get that big and famous, you're probably more interested in what your own thoughts are. Is the funny story could be JC Slicer? I don't know. Could be. Maybe. Who am I to say? I don't want to give anything away. Spin a breaker. What else? Sky Scold. Did you ever play Fortnite? I used to play a lot of Fortnite with my son, but my son has many other games that he plays now, and he plays with his friends, and I try not to be jealous of his friends, but I am. Yes, I wish he didn't have friends, frankly, but he does. So I feel that I should probably nurture and pursue that stuff. But the reality is, given a choice, he's going to play with his friends, and I totally get that. That's all cool. But apparently we are going to be doing some gaming together soon. He wants me to do Last of Us. No, not Last of Us. That mystery murder space one that he's obsessed with. Oh, Nathalis, thank you. And wow, and Offset got one too. Very nice of you. Thank you. Did anyone see the new Kickstarter start? So yes, I did. And check it out, because I gotta say, I've played this game once and I really enjoyed it, because it's kind of like, it's like you get to write your own episodes of Stargate. And I think they're based on around season, what did they say? Like season 6, SG1, around there. So McKay hasn't shown up yet, but he will, I'm sure. In fact, I even registered as Rodney McKay, I think, on their site, just in case someone else got that name before I did. So I should have put Dr. Rodney McKay. Damn it. Oh, well. Rodney McKay, whatever. I should really be I should be McKay, Dr. Rodney McKay. That's probably how I should have done it. So I played, and I haven't played Dungeons & Dragons for a billion years, basically, since before the universe began. So I couldn't remember how to play anything. They've got all these new, fangled gadgets for keeping track of scores and doing die rolls and all that kind of stuff. So it was kind of fantastic, I got to say. And I got to play the warrior that McKay would always want to be. Large green alien warrior, as it turns out. So yes, you should totally check that out. Is there a link? I should probably get you a link for it, shouldn't I? It's Wyvern Gaming. And we're going to be doing another stream of a game, I think, with a bunch of the Davids. I don't think David Nichols doing it, but I do know that of course David Blue's doing it, because he's like a big nerd on this stuff. He's huge on. He plays D&D all the time. So I think that is the Wyvern Gaming. Stargate RPG. There you go. So that's the link. Nightbot is warning people not to. Yes. Cal is very, very, very strict about her posting of links thing. Hello, Cal. By the way, birthday, Cal. Is it still? It's still basically Cal's birthday month, right? So, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cal. Happy birthday to you. Had a nice chat with Cal the other day. And she is, I'm sure, mortified by that. David Blue is awesome. He is indeed. Any chance you could team up with some Stargate alum to play a game on the stream? Well, that's Megalith exactly what we're doing. I think the plan is, am I allowed to say this? I'm assuming I'm allowed to say this. Yeah, there's a bunch of us are getting together to play, I think on the 18th. I think it's October the 18th we plan on doing that. Pixie Rose. Hello, Pixie Rose. Mr. Clean Tracy's here. Yeah, so that is the plan. Anyways, the plan is to do some sort of like teaming up on that. Hops Genomen. Hello to you. Every day is Cal's birthday. It's so true. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh my god, I sneeze like a Smurf. Yes, Ang Beckett's here. Cal, why are we banning David? I mean, why are we banning David? We're banning David because of ASMR. Or Cal SMR. Because this is ASMR for Cal. Isn't it great? Let me just drink some coffee. Coffee. So good. You're welcome, Cal. Bless you, says Miss Lintz. I guess there really is a lag because we're in slow mode. Oh, slow mode. I'm falling out of my chair laughing, says Ang Beckett. You see? See, this is quality entertainment, Cal. You may not like it, but everyone else, enjoys as I enjoy. It was kind of sexy. Oh, God, that is... I hope not. Wolfsbane. Hello, Wolfsbane. Loving the ASMR. See? Okay, I'll turn slow mode off. Let's see how you handle it. No, Cal, don't! Oh, God, no, Cal, please! What happens if you turn it off? I don't think I've ever operated without. Yes, I sneeze like a Smurf. It's very true. If you were playing games, does that mean you got a new computer? No, doobly, no. I love pizza. Sci-fi say this is like a quick question thing. Mr. Freeze, we French are working on Stargate mod for the Arma 3 games. Do you want to see? Yeah, show us a link. Hops Genomen says, I'm German and love Stargate Atlantis. Well, very good taste, I say. Das ist very good. Hops Genomen. Floodgates have opened, Moneural. It becomes a blur, says Techniques. I'm still going. David, did you ever had issues with makeup, hair, costumes, bad haircut, bad makeup, wrong clothes, or they broke while filming, etc.? Offset, I remember on Star... Okay, now I'll get totally behind. If I do a proper answer to a question, I'm going to be totally behind. Cal, you're a jerk. Yes, I've had a few wardrobe malfunctions, shall we say. My favorite one for some reason is I never remember to do up my zipper. It's just I don't know what the deal is, or maybe it's just because I keep putting my hands in my pockets and then for some reason that puts the added pressure needed to open a zipper. So I've always had my zipper open. I'm sure there's got to be Stargate episodes where I've got a zipper open. So thankfully I do prefer to wear underwear. There are others who don't, I'm sure. So that's the big one. The other one that was really weird. The first couple of seasons on Stargate, I don't know what the deal was. They could not tailor the suits right. They are our uniforms. They could not get them right. So they would sort of like do all this sizing and measuring, and you come in and there'd be like tape measures up your crotch and all sorts of stuff. They would cover every possible aspect of a pair of pants, and then you would get a pair of pants that would have like one leg sewn shut or something. Like it was just, I don't know what was going on, but it was pretty ridiculous. And I actually lost my temper a few times because I was like, this is ridiculous. I'd get on set in the middle of nowhere and I'd get a pair of pants and I'd realize that there was just no way they were going to fit they wouldn't even get over my knees in some cases. So they'd obviously got something wrong, or I'd eaten so much the night before, which I feel was unlikely. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't put on weight. My God, I did. But they were measuring me all the time to do these damn uniforms. They'd never fit. So, Okay, I'm gonna be looking for an open zipper the next time I watch SGA. Great, you're welcome. I think I just panicked and closed the chat. That's it. Yeah, basically. How would you cope being done up as a wraith? Oh God, I'm not a huge. Donka, hops gentleman. Um, how would I deal with dressing up as a wraith? I don't love prosthetics. I love the idea of prosthetics at first, but then the idea of having to wear them on a regular basis would just be horrible. In fact, I think whenever the production got like angry with someone, they would put like lots of prosthetics on them just to make their life misery. Also, a big part of it is you have to come in really early. So like you'll get like a 4 a.m. call because you got 3 hours of makeup before anyone even shows up. So no, not a big fan of that. In fact, here's a story for you. So the 10,000-year-old McKay hologram was an episode that came up during Jane's pregnancy with Baz, who's now 13. So 13 years ago, I've got a teenager. I was a horrible teenager. I really hope Baz is more like Jane. Actually, Jane was a horrible teenager too. Jane was a great teenager, but she was way too cool. Like she did all the sort of cool stuff, all the cool rebel stuff, which I wouldn't know what to deal with. Going out to clubs and things. All I did was blow things up. Actually, yeah, I don't know which I prefer. I think I probably prefer him at the clubs. Then he could just talk to Jane if he's got any problems. What was the point of this? Yes, so 10,000-year-old hologram McKay. I don't remember the name of the episode. He took a lot of makeup to do. And I had said, literally 9 months before, whatever you do, make sure that the episode I'm in during that last little bit of pregnancy is a light one for me, because obviously at any moment I could be required to leave, and I will leave basically. And of course they knew I wouldn't. The reality is you can't just abandon a set in the middle of a day like that. So, but basically what I was saying was like, back off on McKay during that time because I got a kid coming. And all of them have had kids. Well, Malazzi I guess hadn't, but almost everyone else had kids. Malazzi had dogs. He understands. But for some reason, I guess because of scheduling or just because they weren't thinking of it, they scheduled this 10,000-year-old episode. So I was up incredibly early, and they were saying like it would take like 3 hours to remove, 2.5 hours to remove the makeup after the day of shooting. So I was like, it won't take that long if I need to go. I will literally just. But so when Baz was born, I arrived at the hospital with little bits of 10,000-year-old McKay on me because they hadn't taken it all off and I hadn't had a chance to shower. So the whole time that kid was born, and many of the photos, there's still like bits of like either my skin had completely dried out and started peeling because I'd had 7 days in this full makeup stuff. I was so pissed off. Let me just say, an angry Hewlett. Too bad they didn't have access to the digital aging, de-aging. Yeah, although there's something I gotta say. When it's done well, the prosthetic aging, I think, always looks better. I have yet to see digital aging that works really, really well. It's more than just a face. There's also something about the acting. Is once they put you in these things, once you look at yourself in the mirror and you see the old hands and the old faces and stuff, it makes you act better, I think. So, I think I've shared my favorite Jason Momoa moment. Well, I shouldn't say my favorite, but my favorite story about Jason Momoa. But I could bore you again with it again unless people are looking. Well, yeah, the digital de-aging is good. The digital de-aging is very good because that is, and also digital makeup now. Like I think, if I was a makeup artist right now, I would be studying a lot about digital makeup because I think that's going to be the way to go. You got a spot, you track it, you remove it. It's almost better. Get it out of the final product rather than trying to cover it up with makeup and stuff. It just seems so antiquated now that we're in, like, we've got 2K, 4K, 8K footage. You're gonna see any makeup you put on your face. So I'm thinking definitely go with digital makeup where you can. Bore away, says Idara the Arcane. So driving home late from Stargate one night on location, and I have my little Toyota Echo. Cheapest car you could buy, and was never tempted to change it because it worked absolutely perfectly for me. Never been a huge car fan. If I used to love motorcycles, so to me, a car was no matter what car you had, it was basically never as cool as a motorcycle. But I think my motorcycle days are over now. I think if anything, maybe electric vehicle next. But anyways, I'm driving home in my little Toyota Echo from the middle of nowhere. I'm lost. As always, because this was, this was pre Google Maps or certainly usable Google Maps and stuff. And I pull up to this intersection in the middle of freaking nowhere. There's like a bridge over it. There's highways, and I don't know where I am. And I'm sitting there, and I've got maps out and on my phone. I'm trying to call Jane, and I hear this like massive vehicle sort of pull up beside the car, or what sounded like a massive vehicle. I look over, and it's this giant like hippie mobile, as I'd call it, like a giant 4x4 thing. And there was Joe Flanagan smiling at me from the front window. Like, no, not just smiling, giggling. No, not just giggling, like wetting himself laughing. And I was like, what the? I was like, what? Like, are you laughing at me for being lost? And I look over because something catches my eye. A darkness catches my eye. And there, in the window, squished up against the window, was Jason Momoa's buttocks. So forever in my head is this mooning Jason, sort of inextricably bound to Joe Flanagan's giggling face. They will always be connected in my head now. But yeah, it was just, and you find yourself going like, you don't know what it is at first. You're like, what is it? It looks vaguely familiar. What is it? And then suddenly, you realize what it is, and you are looking. Looking into the dark hole into Jason Momoa's intestines, and yes, let's just say I will never forget it. There you go. There are people in the world who would have paid good money for that. It's very true. The 10,000-year-old episode Hologram was such a great McKay episode. I really love that it showed a side of McKay that didn't get a lot of spotlight. Thank you very much. What I didn't write it. I just said it. What was the episode called though? I can never remember what that one was called. Yeah, what was the name of that? Did we find out what it was called? Oh, you heard that story from Jason. What was Jason? I'd be curious to know what Jason's perspective on it was. Yeah, they look too clean. This is the thing, Killy SG10. You're right. They look too clean as compared to prosthetics. There's imperfections that make it look more real. And that's the uncanny valley again, isn't it? So there's a Killy SG10, by the way. Welcome. So there's this thing called uncanny valley where things that we're familiar with, if they're rendered entirely artificially, this something in our brains doesn't let us believe them. So this is sort of a weird sense of yes, Last Man, of course. Sir CB85 saw the cinematic treasure that is Debug. It wasn't horrible. I can't even watch it. It's too depressing for me. It's River Song. Well, thank you for joining us. It's time for my grade 8 homework. All right, well, please go to it. God knows, grade 8 was a pleasure for me. This is what I get for being a parent. Hopefully I can make it back before you go offline. Oh, look, we'll probably stay on for a little bit, so we'll see. Good evening, David. How are you, my friend? I'm very good, Jedi Killer. How are you? It was more of a relaxed, calm, happy Rodney. Well, that's the thing, though. I felt that he was older, right? I mean, I felt that he was older and thus not quite as... I mean, he could be just as cantankerous. In fact, maybe more cantankerous, but not as sort of high energy, if that makes sense. Niscala, thank you very much for your subscription. Much appreciated. I should say thank you, by the way. I should say thank you to DStat for being our sponsorship level Patreon on Patreon. All of our Patreon patrons, all of our subscribers, all of the people who've given money to PayPal for my Tech Bandits, all of this money goes to, so all the patronage and all that stuff goes to Tech Bandits and is much appreciated. It allows me to do things like have fancy cameras so I can mix one to the other like this. Woo! Kids get a kick out of that too, and it also allows me to get sort of gadgets and fun things to play with for Tech Bandits. There's also a small portion of it that goes to Baz's pocket money fund. I sort of like the idea of him earning his money. Although that said, he hasn't streamed a lot recently. I've been telling him, I think I may have scared him off because I said to him, anyway, that was the wrap up of my thank you. So thank you very much. I was bugging him about streaming the other day, and I was saying like, look, you need to you've got to find something that you like doing that you can stream that isn't the same as everybody else. Like, how do you not just be another gaming streamer? You know, how do you do something sort of original and come up with something you like doing? So I'm scared that may have put him off because he sort of says things like, well, I'm going to do like just a chilled game stream and we'll just do it like that. And I was like, well, who doesn't do a chilled game stream? Then he starts talking about anime, and I thought, oh, well, maybe I said an anime tie-in sounds great. Like, what if you do like a stream where you talk about the latest in anime news or something like that? So he quite likes that. But if people have suggestions, yeah, if people had suggestions for him, let me know because he really is looking for. He's trying to find. I mean, it's kind of weird because I was so lucky because I mean I would have told you right away what I would be doing. I would be doing something about acting or filmmaking or something because that was my, at 13, 14, that was my life. Well, from then until now, basically, that's been my life. It's only sort of recently branched out. I shouldn't. What am I saying? Only recently branched out into the tech bandit stuff. But the reality is my sort of contagious curiosity thing has always been prevalent. Like I just had no way to sort of formalize it, I suppose. So, Mr. Deadly Eugen, he doesn't play board games. This is the problem: is he just likes video games, and there's nothing wrong with that. I started doing Game Bandits, which is on tomorrow, by the way. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, I believe. We're doing another Game Bandits. So the idea behind Game Bandits was to get kids like my son who had no interest in anything other than gaming to do to maybe learn a little bit of stuff and maybe just sort of use that as a sort of springboard into other learning things. Let me find a link for you because there's some show notes that I have for tomorrow, which may be of some interest to you all. And again, this is the kind of thing that your support allows me to do. Let me have a look. The Tech Bandits. Where would I have put it? That's a good question. Oh, I don't think it's actually live on the site yet. I'll have to. Ooh, you guys get secret access. All right, hang on a second. Let me give you secret access. I'm sending you out secret access in 1 minute. Here we go. We've got that. That is the scent. Where's the scent? You are not showing me the scent. Thank you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy the link address. I'm going to send it to you all now. Here we go. And I am pasting. Okay, so this is the kind of stuff that I'm trying to sort of put together. No, I have not put a coffee machine up. It's at least with a coffee machine in the other rooms. I have to go upstairs and downstairs to get the coffee. I feel like that's at least some exercise. Oh my God, I'm also counting calories right now. Don't even start me on that. So not a diet, as I told my son. Diet is die with a T. It's lifestyle. I'm trying to do smaller helpings, and I'm trying to track what I eat because I discovered that if you are faced with the number of calories, I literally started talking about this because of a chat with Barnacules. But yeah, I just hang on a sec. Let me drink my coffee while I'm thinking of it. I was literally thinking about this with Barnacules about trying to do a system of telling people what their products impact on the world is. So what is your global impact for a product? So you get an iPhone, it tells you, about child labor, about what kind of fair employment they're getting or lack of fair employment you're getting for it, what damage it does to the environment, all that kind of stuff. So basically a calorie system for products, which I think would just be a smart way to sort of just at least, it doesn't have to force people to change stuff. And if they truly don't have an option, then they will go with the cheaper products or whatever. But the idea of just sort of trying to make it at least apparent to people where their money is going. Where these sort of dollar store buys and things are how these things are possible through sort of cheap labor and stuff. So, and the reason I thought of that was because of the calories thing, where I've been shocked when I sort of went into like a roadside diner on a trip up north or something to grab a quick burger because I was hungry and gone, how many thousand calories? That's insane. Well, why don't I get that one? Because it's like half as much. Or why don't I share it with my son instead of the whole one? Just that kind of stuff. And I just thought, I got to start doing that again because I realize if you don't know what if you don't know what you're eating, you have no way of gauging how much you're getting. So, my father's a dinosaur. There you go. I liked Baz had a name for it. He said Baz talks too much. I thought that was kind of fun. Thinking about what I'm eating is so exhausting. I just don't want to eat anything anymore. I get too tired. There you go, Lilyfen. Perfect. You'll lose a ton of weight. So it's I use a thing called MyFitnessPal, which is not perfect, but once you sort of have, like most people have sort of a somewhat varied, but at least fairly regular types of foods that they eat. Once you've got those in there, it's pretty easy to get it in there. And then you also do things like the other night, I was like, oh my God, I'm down by, oh my God, I've overeaten by 100 and something calories. So I just went and hopped on the elliptical. I literally hopped on the elliptical until I counted those calories down and I was at an even zero. And then I went to bed. you know. So that's basically what I did. And you do get a little obsessive about it, but that's me. That's what I do. I was talking about something else before, which I don't even remember. Tech Bandits, things I was discussing. Yes. So the Gaming Bandits, the whole idea there was to try to, convince people like my son, kids like my son, that, that gaming can be the center of your life, but that that it opens up other windows of curiosity. There's other things that you could get interested in from the gaming perspective. So, this one I talk about microtransactions. Which gives us an opportunity to talk about gambling and addiction and the chemistry of addiction. Based on a new game that's come out that they're sort of very excited about. So it's just looking for those little sort of paths to learning or little paths to understanding the world around them that I don't think most gaming related content talks about. So yeah, and it's really fun too, because it allows me to sort of explore stuff, and then it's a little puzzle where I have to figure out, okay, how do I make this more than just an announcement of a game? You know what I mean? I've also been really pushing, since the whole sort of resurgence of Black Lives Matter, I've really been pushing to try to find content that relates to people of color and in the tech industry and in gaming and all that kind of stuff. And there's some great stories that have come up, some great stuff that some of the companies are doing. Minecraft is doing some stuff, which I very much appreciate. They're building like maps based on the idea of social sort of social upheaval in regimes that aren't friendly to various different groups of people and that kind of stuff. So just some really interesting stuff. That's right, Sir CB85. It is Genshin Impact. Or what do they call it? Waifu of the Wild, waifu of the Wild, something like that. Playing Pokemon in depth greatly increased my math proficiency as a kid. Oh, great. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, well, that's the kind of stuff. I mean, I think there's definitely. Look, you could be all negative on video gaming, and I've got friends who don't even let their kids play games at all. I let my kid do way too much of everything, and then when we find problems with what we're dealing with, we can sort of back off from there. So, currently we've decided to get rid of TikTok. We've decided to get rid of Instagram and Snapchat and all these other things, because we just found that there was so much time being spent. It's just wasted, really, just watching stuff that you're being spoon-fed. And that was the thing that we talked about with Baz. I was just saying, like, look, if you're a TikToker, whatever you kids call it, if you're creating content for TikTok, that's one thing. But if you're just sitting there consuming, like just vegging in front of it, you don't get anything about it. You know what I mean? I don't feel there's any. I mean, you can get some inspiration, but if that inspiration isn't turning into anything, then what's the point? So I've just said, look, let's get rid of it, see what it's like, in exchange for gaming time. So he likes to play games. I say, great, you game. If you want to game, how are you going to stream? I mean, if he wants to be a streamer when he grows up, he's got to do that stuff. So, and I don't want to depress him, and I don't want to freak him out. I mean, I've asked him about editing. Maybe he could do that. The problem is, he likes gaming. And let's face it, gaming is a lot more rewarding than, I mean, not in the long run, I don't think, but in the short term, it's incredibly rewarding in an addictive way. So it's hard to get him to do anything else. Anyways, but what's neat is, like, I have discussions with other kids as well, because this isn't just for Baz, just for my son. I have discussions with other kids who can take the bait on this stuff and who will say, "Oh, editing, what a good idea! If I do some editing, could I do some editing for you?" And then then I show people what the editing I've done, and then maybe they'll get like a job with like a big gamer or something because I've got experience and stuff. I'm like, that's what Game Bandits is all about, and I'm trying to figure out a way. Actually, this is a good question to put out there. How do I create a little sort of YouTube type thing for my gamers? Like a place for them. As I say this, I realize it's just not going to work because the reality is they don't want to be isolated streamers. They want to be YouTubers. They want to be Twitch streamers. But how do I give them a protected? I thought there was some way maybe of giving them a protective system, but maybe it's just a matter of maybe they could be under the umbrella of Tech Bandits, and I could use the some of my social media numbers and stuff to help promote their stuff because we've got gamers who are starting to create content, and I've got a ways to go, a lot of them, but I would love to be able to sort of support them in some way. I'm just going to look up one of my guys now, if I can. I can never remember. They for one thing, they keep changing their names. That's one of the problems. And the other thing, of course, is that I never remember them because there's always like some kind of funky spelling or something associated with it. Let me see if I've got them in here. I only follow a certain number of people, so I should be okay. So a month ago, what the heck? Come on, he's got to have done more than that. Wow. Okay, so it's been a month since to be fair, he's back at school. He's back at school now. But again, it's so depressing to be a kid, working your guts out and getting 15 views. I suppose that's part of the lesson to learn. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to give them a little showcase once in a while and maybe help them out. Give them some crazy numbers. And then the other thing is that some of the kids don't even do Game Bandits with us anymore. But they'll sort of like check in. Like I'll get a little message on Discord or something like that, which is kind of fun. So. There are plenty of streaming and content creation teams. Go with that. Evolution 219. What do you mean content creation teams? How does that? So we just team up to help them make their stuff. Neebs Gaming makes stories with games, which I love. I wish they did more of that. Thanks, Mr. Dudley Eugen. That's. I will look them up. I love that aspect of it too. I mean, God, to me, the idea of heaven for me is being able to use these tools to create our own stories. I just think that's so cool. Today everyone will be streaming Baldur's Gate 3 early access. Oh, really? Ah, I see. I wonder if they're playing that or not. Always good to know. I like to have all of my I like to know everything that's going on so that I can impress them with my gaming knowledge, or my fake gaming knowledge, as the case may be. I don't play a lot of the games now. I just don't have time. So I'm sort of reliant on Baz and his friends to keep me posted, and you, for that matter. Maybe you can feature them periodically in a format where you yourself start presenting a certain topic. That's so. Interesting. Yeah, you could almost have like a little piece on, okay, hi, so maybe a little interview with the gamers saying what are you hoping to achieve with this and that kind of stuff. That's a possible, that is a possible. For kids, an umbrella channel that an adult watches over makes the most sense to me. Yeah, that could work. How do you do live streaming though? Live Twitch streaming. So the Twitch team, how would Grove's Best, how would a Twitch team work? Because it seems like a lot of them want to do Twitch. The problem with live, first off, a lot of parents don't want them going live. And there's also stuff to deal with live. I mean, you can get some really, my camera looks a little out of focus. Oh, of course maybe it does. Let me try this then. Mustache. Oh yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, is that what you're missing? Oh boy, yeah, look at that mustache, perfectly in focus. Is that better? Sorry, link was to the official Twitch team page. I think I can allow that, can't I? Hang on, let me see. Hey, Mr. Parmy, how are you? Australian llama. Yes, please, more mustache, of course. You can 100% pre-record stuff and stream them on a schedule. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Huh. Okay. I think I can. What can I do? Permit Chitty. I'm not nearly as fast as our. Oops, no, it's not SGs. It's Chitty SG. There you go. So Chitty, you should be able to post a link now if you want. Maybe when kids get the hang of it, but it's all okay. An okay start. Pre-record is definitely best for kids. Audiences can be very toxic. Yeah, no, I know. Cisco. I am so freaking lucky, because of this. Like, this community is amazing, and it's one of the reasons why I kind of want the kids to be exposed to this, because I feel like you want them to see how things are supposed to be done, like how Cal's supposed to crush people when they try to post things. Teach on Twitch streams. Oh, fantastic. Chitty, thank you so much. That's great. I will copy that. I will put that in my yet another window for myself to look at later. Because next week, so I'm actually planning ahead now. Jane sort of read me the riot act and said, "Look, you got to have a better schedule. Like, I'm just having a hard time getting the schedule stuff sorted." Oop, there you go. I realized that I'm using my Wacom tablet as a mouse pad, and of course it's wreaking havoc on my. I've started like 50 different windows on my PC, which I could also stream into here too. Oh, it's so cool. Building DS capture cards. I speak to streamers and Twitch partners pretty much daily. Oh, really? Building DS capture cards. DS. What, Nintendo DS? Capture cards? Oh, wow. So Evolution, you'll be interested in that link I just sent out for the Game Bandits tomorrow, because we're talking about the fact that that Bowser, the Canadian hacker Bowser, who works with, I can't remember the name of the company now. What is it called? I shall look it up right now. They got a really cool name because they're hackers. It is called Team Executor. So Team Executor, console hacking, modding, of course breaking every possible rule that they have for these games, but it allows them to sort of like basically hack the system. So Nintendo DS, yes, okay. Well, that's the idea, K-pop Dad, is how do I create a nice safe network for them to build their content through, but not have them restricted in it, because the reality is they're more savvy than I am on this stuff, than any of us are for that matter. They're the kids of America, the kids of the world who basically they want to be able to stream. What was that? I'd love to know what that noise was. I'm sure something will make sense later. So I just don't want to take their okay, mic one when I turn that off. There we go. So you don't get the sound from the computer, and neither do I by the sound of it. I love it when the strange noises start. It was me. Good afternoon, Krillin. Twitch seems safer than YouTube for kids who want to create videos. Is it, Sci-Fi Sadie? I don't know, because my concern is that the live aspect of it could be even more of a problem. Sorry for the farty microphone. That's me. Oh, Cal loves that too. Cal, this is for you. How's that, Cal? Do you like that? Is that a nice creaky sound? Oh, that's, yeah, there you go. Oh, okay, it's just a creaking. Let me just get that back in position. There you go. Okay. Maybe having adult contributed moderators. Yeah, that could, well, that's true. That's just a lot of work for people, isn't it? That definitely, it sounds exactly like my knees. It's a very, into the arcane. It's very, very true. You've been on the Guinness? Have I been on the Guinness? No, I wish. Weird that I learned how to hate when I met David. David is hate. For I am, like, what was it that the fifth element was love? Well, maybe the sixth element is hate. Yeah, if they pre-record, they miss out on the live interaction, which is what they want, but they can participate in the live chat. But it's best to be there with them to react to the negative stuff. I mean, that's really it. In this case, ASMR stands for Actor Starts Microphone Ruckus. Very quick, Grove Spaz. Very quick. OMG. It is hard to still keep a straight face when you're filming a scene where you have to be unconscious. Oh my God, is it hard? I, the worst thing for me is I think I have a resting, smiling face. Like, and of course, that doesn't really work for things when you're supposed to be dead, because of horrible things. It's not really good to be lying there dead, like, I just have I have like a happy look because I think I just enjoy sleeping so much. I enjoy sleeping almost as much as food. Someone mentioned sub-only mode for the kids streaming. Huh. But then then people have to pay for it. How does that work? You mean, can you do a stream? I guess you could, but the problem with sub-only means that you're really limiting their audience again. Like, I'm trying not to restrict their audience. I don't know. They aren't going to sub before they participate in chat. Exactly. That's my thing. Is I feel like, I mean, I wonder if we could just do like, sort of like a gaming stream. I guess we could get a bunch of kids together to play together with us, and they could, and if people like the way they're playing, they could each sort of promote their own channels from there, maybe. I'm a terrible giggler. I'm absolutely awful at it. I had the weirdest thing the other day. It was on a different set, and out on like a railroad track in the middle of nowhere, and I had these scenes. Not a lot to say, like really not a ton of dialogue, but a fairly emotional stuff. And I just completely blanked. Like, unlike I often, I mean, like I'll forget lines, but to absolutely go, I was just like staring down the lens of the camera going, like I literally have there is nothing in my head that relates to what's going on here other than I'm standing in the field. That was it. Yeah, I'm convinced there's a certain amount of like COVID lockdown, like brain skills that aren't working quite as well as it, which that I blame that on the doors too. That's why I couldn't open the doors. Mighty Master, what's just life? Just have mods. You get the odd noob, but 95% it'll be fine. Well, I mean, look, I've been very lucky that way. Love watching outtakes. Yeah, outtakes were kind of fun. Sisters, they didn't like us doing outtakes, though, because they were scared that if they started posting outtakes, that we would start goofing around for the outtakes, which I've got to say was a bit insulting. But they're like, no, we don't like to do that, because then the people start just goofing around just for the outtakes. I'm like, really? No, I don't think we do. I think we actually do our work very hard, and sometimes things screw up, and it's like the freedom to, it's just kind of, these are the side effects of working hard. There's a channel points redeemed for non-sub people to chat in sub-only mode. My God, this is getting complicated. When you get to 50 followers for the first set of emotes is an amazing feeling. It really is evolution, isn't it? I mean, Baz has really been walking me through this stuff, and it's been great. Lilycorn says, Cal, is that an offer, though, for his bandits? What is that? Cal says, or you get a Cal to hammer the people. No kidding. It's always it's like watching SNL for when one of the mains break. Fallon always breaks. You mean you mean start laughing during the thing? Fallon was never good at keeping his face straight. In fact, I had issues with him at first because I was like, he laughs uncomfortably and ruins the joke in many cases. So, well, used to, anyways. But he was young. He was young. He was a child. You don't do sub-only mode when you're new. Yeah, exactly, Mighty Master. That was my feeling. There's no Cal like you, I guess. So not everyone can get one. Although every chat needs one. It's very true. Sisters. Yep. Yeah. So okay. So what do we? I'll say unique's a word. Cal unique. Cal the unique. Yes, I think that's a very nice way of putting it. Sub-only mode allows all to watch, but only subs to watch. What? People who have been watching the channel for long enough can redeem their accumulated points to chat during one of those streams. This would keep the audience open, but limit the possibility of trolls and nastiness. I see. Sorry. So people, so sub only mode allows all to watch, but only subs to chat. That is probably a really good way of doing it. So maybe that is the way to go. Um, I have no idea how many subs we've got here. I mean, but it might be kind of fun to do that. Well, but that's what they should do. Again, I don't want to steal their people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be. I want to make sure that this is building their channel, not mine. If that makes sense. Although I guess if we build Ironham, it supports. It's what is it? The rising tide raises all boats. Um, Follow only mode is a better way. Oh, that's good. So follow only. So you have to follow in order to do that. That's interesting too. Um, just noticed that, Slavchat. You know, I got news for you. We call Nightbot the Zelenka bot, just so you know. It's not just the ZPMs around here. Stargate permeates everything we do. I mean, Cal, huge Stargate fan. My God, she's probably watching it right now. Um, Twitch is lousy for chat. Well, yes. You mean like voice chat, or you mean like Advorlon? Admin says Twitch is lousy for chat. Do you mean like text chat, or you mean like voice chat? You can add timers to followers too. Calnique. I like Calnique. That's a good word. It's better than YouTube's chat. Another idea, David, is to have them record their gaming sessions and getting them to collaboratively edit them into highlight videos. Yeah, getting them to edit is interesting because editing would be just an amazing thing. Holy cow, now you found something new to mock me with. I'll have you know I can answer every quiz question related to how good you were in an episode. Yeah, not. That's a nice word. Calicut. What else we got here? The chat's rolling by here. Text chat's pretty poor. Yeah, that's very true. Discord's way better chat medium. Yeah, Discord's great. I mean, we could just do the Discord. We do the Discord server. Bass was saying something about getting like certified as a Discord thing. Is there a way to do that? I give loads of credit to editors. Do you, Sirstus? I mean, the editors. The reality is, I don't give enough credit to my mods because they're amazing. I can hear thumping around upstairs. What's going on? It's just Cal today, but we've got lots of people who help us out with this. I mean, Cal being the loudest and most bull in the china shop about it, of course. But I wonder why Discord doesn't work on my PC. Oh, that's a good question. Hello, Nikki2167. Sorry, 21067. That's a lot of Nickies. I'm just saying. Okay, you can run your own Discord server. I do run my own Discord server. We have our own Discord server for Tech Bandits. But I try to keep the voice chat just to the kids because I feel like that's where we could go. That's just a very easy opportunity to get, pretty creepy. D-Stat! How are you, D-Stat? I was just thanking you. Did you hear me? Were your ears burning? All right, what do we got? Took me a single look. I just ignore that portion of the screen usually. YouTube going to be the same. This is 13 plus stems from child protection laws about gathering data from minors. Yes. So Baz was saying the other day that I know what it is. I know exactly what it is. It's this, isn't it? Where's my volume on this? There's that. Or there's this. There you go. I think that will stop it now. Yes, thank you for the support, D-Stat. Well put, Offset. Discord all over still baffles me. Yes, Discord is confusing for us oldies. All of my kids lied about their ages to get accounts. Yeah, I mean, well, Lilith and, Baz is exactly the same. Oh, you know what that is? That is the sound of a birthday cake being made. That's what that sound is, just so you know. It's been fun, but gotta go. Okay, Idara the Arcane, thank you so much for joining us. A pleasure to have you. Do come again. It's a nice bunch. I think you'll like them. Australian Llama, all kids are the same. Yeah, it's true. They seem to ignore the 13-year-old thing, which is funny. We used to, to be fair, we used to sneak into movies all the time that we were too young for. But 16 plus might be also possible. It's just 13 plus is the legal minimum. Platforms can't go below, and so that's where they go for. Yeah. The web version is not so good of Discord. I much prefer the app itself. I'm young, still fail to know anything about the internet. Okay, Leocorn, then you're welcome. You're like an honorary oldie. I really love using Discord. Became a universal social media tool. In what way, Nikki? How are you using that as a social media tool? Favorite game? I really enjoy Magic the Gathering, to be honest. I think that's probably gaming wise. I think Magic the Gathering might be because it allows me to have to be obsessively. I get to be I get to be obsessive about cards, the physical cards. I can also play it digitally, so I'm kind of a fan of that. Um, I should play Magic the Gathering. We should do like maybe I should do Magic the Gathering streams. I wonder if I could talk to you while. The problem is, I feel like with these chats, I feel like Tuesday chats, I kind of need to concentrate because if I don't, I lose track of the chat. Not that I don't, anyways, but that I just, I don't feel like I can interact terribly well when I'm multitasking with a game. Um, if people are just happy to watch me play and babble to myself as I play, then that's totally fine. But yeah, I have not played Magic the Gathering for a while, and I would like to go back to that. I really really enjoyed that. Um, what's M? What's Sisters was a beta partner for Magic the Gathering Online. Wow. I was about 11 when I discovered the internet. They don't ask you for proof of age, and you can fake sounding mature enough. You won't get busted. I never did. I'm 27 now. Yeah, I mean, it's not. They don't care for the most part. They're basically saying as long as the parents are officially or unofficially signing off on it, they don't really care. Wow, J.C. Calhoun was watching Pin. That's going back a ways. That's a lot of hair ago. Um, my life is better when I could take consoles apart for fun. Adding the business part was a double-edged blade, as I love what I do. Um, where am I? Ah, damn it! It just flicked by. Um, Arena does have a better playstyle, but I am just a little hurt that I could not bring my Magic the Gathering online cards to Arena. What? What's the deal on that? Ruby K! Thank you, Ruby K. Ruby K being another moderator, by the way, an often moderator. Any tips on how to start playing Magic the Gathering? I played only Magic MTGA. MTG Arena? I don't think I've ever played Arena, have I? Look, I love the cards because I'm a nerd. And I have an embarrassing number of Magic the Gathering cards and Pokemon cards for that matter. In fact, I'm thinking about selling my Pokemon cards to feed my Magic the Gathering addiction and also maybe raise a bit of money for Tech Bandits as well. I thought if I sold some of the Pokemon cards, I might actually have some. I could stop complaining about money and actually have some for use it for good instead of for addictive evil. Sisters, Arena is the online version of Magic the Gathering. Oh yeah, I've played that. That's great. I mean, the reality is, honestly, it's pretty great. I like Magic the Gathering Arena, if that's what it's called. The online version of Magic the Gathering, I love it because you can learn a lot about the cards themselves, so that when you play an actual game, you actually have more of a sense of it. But I played a lot more of it for a while there. Sign the Pokemon cards. What? Sign them like, what am I going to sign them? Snorlax? My son always used to call me Snorlax. Jerk. I'm 13 now. Now he's a 13-year-old jerk. There you go. As long as you don't say in the chat that you're below 13. Yeah, and the other problem is they're just also just dealing with mature stuff. Like there's also just interactions that adults take for granted that understand that kids don't. And that always worries me a little bit. I would just like to create some kind of an infrastructure for them where they could, I would love them to be able to get their start with Game Bandits and have that be a springboard for their own streaming careers or online careers. I think a lot of these kids are going to need to know how to communicate online, whether it be just face to face with people in the Zoom chat or whether it's presenting to the class or any of that kind of stuff. I just think these are skills that are important. Also, cyber citizen skills, right? So just how they interact with people online, what the right way of doing that is, things to look out for. I mean, recently there's been a thing with Baz where some of the kids, some friends of his, were using this "kill all men" hashtag, which was meant as a feminist joke. It was a joke by a feminist comedian about chauvinists' opinion on feminists. That basically they're just trying to get rid of men. And so she, as a joke, posted this video saying, kill all men, and, kill them at birth so that we don't have any more of these men. We don't need them anymore anyways. Joke. And then it got picked up, of course, by those very same sort of misogynist, toxic, masculine males as an example of exactly the kind of thing that feminists are trying to do: kill all men. This is shameful, horrific. And then, of course, and then it got picked up again by the by I don't even know what the term would be, like, for a combination of feminists and LGBTQ, just various different groups that were sort of pointing out the stupidity. Anyways, it went back and forth, and eventually, and Baz, it got to Baz through a couple of his friends. Had a huge, there was a big argument about it. But the reality is, he was concerned because he felt that, you shouldn't be saying kill anyone online. And I absolutely agree with him. And so did TikTok, because they basically banned the hashtag after that. So, look, I think the biggest issue we have with the internet is anonymity. It's incredibly powerful tool, anonymity, and I don't want to get rid of it, but I feel like on certain platforms, maybe it is better to know who people are. Because I worry that for some people, that ability to hide behind a username is just seems to be just fodder for ridiculously horrible behavior, and in some cases for other people as well. So. Hot stuff, Chris. Thank you very much for your 2 months of subscriptions. Wow. Hot stuff, Chris. Thank you. It's good and it's bad. I feel that anonymity online. I agree. Like, I love anonymity sometimes, because sometimes it's just like, I don't want to be that guy from Stargate sometimes. I just want to be able to just go and just be my own little nerdy self. One of the weird things actually recently is, I wear a mask when I go out all the time now. So I haven't had a Stargate discussion with someone I don't know for 7 months now. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, other than online, obviously. But and it's I don't really miss it because I get to do this. But I could see it being there's a power to that, and there's a power to that hidden nature of you. Maybe. I imagine that people could do things that they wouldn't normally do otherwise, like steal bicycles from my house, that kind of stuff. But anyways, it's many famous shows transition into TV or acting or music, and actors, artists, and stars transition into streaming and gaming. Offset. There's definitely a back and forth happening. There's also a grass is always greener mentality to this stuff, right? So streamers all want to be actors all want to be streamers. I mean, in the same way that actors want to be musicians and musicians want to be actors, I think there's a tendency for people to think, well, I can't be that hard, let's go back and forth. And in many cases, it's, I think certainly from acting, I don't know why everyone can't. I mean, I think everyone can act because they do it in real life all the time anyways. But can I ride a horse and sing? No, I cannot, Magma Rabbit. I have ridden, and I know the logistics of riding, and I learned to ride as a small child in Kent, in England, with my grandparents. But it has been a long time since no, it's not that been. What am I saying? When we were last in, Wales, we were riding around for way too long. My butt hurt for so long after that. But it was really fun. Not the butt hurting part, but the riding of these little pony things around the beaches and stuff was really fun. With the mask, people think even more that I'm a teenager and not the 26-and-a-half-year-old. Well, enjoy it, Aaron Cross. Enjoy being that teenager. Yeah, Magma Rabbit. I can sit on a horse. Thank you, Magma Rabbit. Cal Ban. Yes, I cannot fall off a horse. How's that? It's not so much riding, it's not falling off it. Please stop marking your posts with signs. What does that mean? What do you mean with signs? What are they doing? What's with signs? What is that supposed to, is that supposed to, like, to get attention? Anon has to stay. People have feelies. People having feelies hurt is a real thing, but the day we remove Anon is a day every third world dictator and evil KGB alike police force gets their Christmas. Mwahaha! You're absolutely right. Adam Vorlon. I agree. I just, we need anonymity, but I wonder if there aren't certain forums, programs, access that you require that you would also be required to let people know who you are, have some kind of proof, some kind of a have some kind of a way of just tracking people down if they do say or do or talk about things they shouldn't be, basically. Oh boy. Adam Vorlon, do not go toe to toe with Cal. You will lose that battle. The hammer will lower. It's not worth it. Not a problem. I was just saying you were telling me. Yes, I think the idea is that Cal is trying to keep a level playing field. So we don't is not. Yeah, no, I know you. I know you are Adam Vorlon. Got it. All cool. All good. Totally good. That's great. Yeah. Everyone's happy. Everyone's friends. That's super. Yes. Anonymity on some platforms should not exist, especially when it is abused. I mean, like, I wonder about, like, posting to news sites. Although I say that, then I immediately go, well, what about, like, whistleblowers? What about people? Like, we wouldn't know about what America's doing, what America has been doing, and I'm sure continues to do in the way of surveillance if we hadn't had whistleblowers. And they had to be anonymous, otherwise they would be in trouble. Now they're not anonymous, many of them, but anyways. Well, and from a police state standpoint, yes, the Lifen, I think you've got to be a lot more careful if you're worried about people not tracking you down. The reality is, if someone wants to find you, there's a very good chance that they will. And I mean, I've recently been listening to some podcasts talking about how, or podcast guests talking about how they've never let their kids on social media and they haven't released any information about them. I've been awful that way. Like, Baz has been online, for years. I did sort of hold off on baby photos, too many baby photos to start. I was definitely sort of cautious of it. But I also didn't understand the medium as much. Now I let Baz do basically what he wants. We had a discussion about these social media platforms, and we both decided that it was probably better to get rid of them. The one that the saddest one is Reddit. I really, I love Reddit. I think it's a fantastic tool. The problem is the app version of it is very much like a TikTok or an Instagram, where there's just streams of information. And again, there's this addictive quality of just scroll. And my biggest thing for kids, specifically my own, and I should probably, pay attention. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I definitely do this, I think, is that I seek out the information I want online. That's not to say I don't get distracted by other content. I do all the time. I'm like a squirrel. I'm as ADHD as they come, literally, like medically. So I will get distracted by stuff, but my hope online is to reduce that as much as possible. And thus, with something like YouTube, which I know will suggest things, I have said to him, look, there will suggestions will come up. You will be sort of, they will try to lure you away from your life. But at the same time, if you can be the one in charge, if you can be the one asking the questions, as opposed to just sitting back and letting whatever they want to feed you, I think that's a better approach to it. I mean, silly as that sounds, slightly better approach. Sky Scott, thank you very much for your subscription. Sky Skolt. I mean, I don't even know how to say that. No, I'd go with Sky Scott. I like that. Because you got the 7. I see the 7 for the T. That makes sense. I'm familiar with the development and how it works. What is this? I thought that too when I was writing about activities I was participating in on Twitter, but I didn't realize reporters were following me. But you do know that Tor was developed by the U.S. Navy, right? Yeah, well, there's that. Look, again, Tor isn't safe. Tor can be unsafe too, because you're going in, you're coming out somewhere. Often in the real internet, there's still points of entry where you can be tracked. Yes, whistleblowers existed long before social media, but I think that the internet has allowed a flow of information in a way that it's unprecedented, and I love it, and I think it should be supported in every way possible. I mean, I'm literally arguing with myself here because I think there's a very, very strong and important need for anonymity, but I also think there also needs to be some kind of responsibility associated with this stuff too. Don't use the website, download the app or the program. I go on Discord as Gray Scream Philadelphia. Yeah, I would go with the app for sure. I reached out and found your posts. What posts are those? Hurricane. And hello, Hurricane, by the way. I reached out and found your posts. What posts? I post everywhere, for God's sake. Um, Reddit lets you make your own chosen subreddits to follow. Yes. Um, yes. And I guess maybe there's a way to sort of prune back some of the stuff he's. The problem is that I guess that the Reddits, the subreddits that he's following, are another whole rabbit hole that he can go down as well. So, um, okay, Nick Baring. We try not to use the term bad actors around here. Um, I'm totally joking, just so we're clear. Anonymity for safety and protecting against anonymous bad actors is definitely a paradox. Yeah, definitely. I think there's a need to compromise two nodes before it's not safe for Turing. You have to have enough users, or it can be deduced who you are. Interesting. Okay. Yes, Cy Scott is right. Got it. I thought that might be the case. I like. Ooh, what does he have to say? I was like, ooh, what does he have to say? I like that you approach the team executor situation from an angle where you ask questions about device ownership. Those are very important questions. Aligns with the right to repair movement and the homebrew movement. Yeah, Grove Spaz. I'm a hacker. Not a hacker, but I mean, I like to take things apart. I like to change the way things work if I can, or just break them. That's usually what happens. I mean, robotic arms were not meant to be, hot glued to the ceiling, but I mean, nor were they ever, I'm sure, conceived of being used that way. But that doesn't mean people shouldn't do that. I really want people, and specifically the reason why I started Tech Bandits, and I want them to have access to more and more fun technologies and tools and services and stuff. Which again is why I appreciate the donations. I want them to have access to the tools and stuff that they need to do that themselves. I think the right to repair is absolutely. It seems ridiculous to me that I buy something and I can't fix it myself, or that I can't figure out how to fix it myself, or that I'm not allowed to fix it myself. Yeah, not a fan of that. I gotta get going. Okay, paper clips. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I didn't say hello earlier. I did not realize you were in there in this crazy mess of people. 115 people today. Holy goshness. Thank you. That's very nice. Paper clips. You have a good day. Thank you very much. Enjoy. And I look forward to your email. Thank you. Grove Spez, hot glued robotic arm. Awesome phrase, totally. And a band name, yeah, it's true. That was Whisper with Cal. She really helped me out, get all the Discord stuff sorted out. Lady Shelley, always good advice to talk to Cal. When in doubt, Cal. Tech Bandits is awesome. Thank you very much, Sci-Fi Sadie. It really is. I love it. Absolutely love it. I mean, I'd love to say it was, yes, it's a terribly noble thing that I'm doing, but the reality is I'm just having fun. I learn more from the kids than they learn from me. Apple sucks. Don't even start Cal on this one, but I have very much enjoyed my Apple products, but I've got to a point where there is a certain sort of elitism and lack of respect for their users that really bothers me. And also, I don't want to be their guinea pigs. The number of times I've bought things that were first or second generation that just don't work, and then later on they just abandon them. It's a bit like Google and abandoning all their different services. But this is expensive hardware that I paid for, as opposed to just time and effort. But the thing that really broke the camel's back, me being the camel, was the trash Mac that I got here. Just been a disaster since day one. Absolute disaster. Had to return it a couple of times. It wasn't working properly. Its connectivity is terrible. Limited of ports. Absolutely, end of life inability to upgrade it without, some kind of crazy kind of mods, I imagine. I hate it. And also the MacBooks, where the batteries die and you're supposed to send them away for a month to get them replaced. It's just nuts. I know Rodney was a character, but watching you and stuff you post, I just can't help but think art imitates life. You are just more charismatic and a people person. I like to think I'm a nicer, not as smart version of McKay. That's what I'm going for. If I get halfway there, I'm all right. Tour by itself, not enough for sure. I love Stargate. Very good today. Hope you are too. Repairing or cleaning up a game controller is a real mess. Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. I mean, some stuff is just built, I guess, because the manufacturing process makes it easier. You know, they can design stuff that's very difficult to put apart again once you've taken it apart. I understand that, but the idea of doing it on purpose is I struggle with. I just think that's wrong. I mean, some stuff eventually is just going to get so small you can't fix it, and there's a limit to what you can do with an iPhone now. I mean, you can strip it down and stuff, but there's only there's very much a limit in the technologies available to us that allow us to play with these things. But again, I don't know who it was who was talking about doing DS capture cards and stuff like that. You're not supposed to be able to do that. You're not supposed to be able to do that. That seems wrong to me. Like I can point a camera at it and do it. Why not take that digital signal and use it? I love Stargate. I can actually call you Sophie. Well, thank you, Sophie. I'll probably call it I love Stargate, girl, because that will be my memory will be better jogged by that. But welcome, Sophie. Thank you for coming, and well, thank you for coming and returning for that matter. Turtle Princess is in the house as well. Fantastic. Hello, Turtle Princess. Evolution 219 says some of us take these things apart every day, and it's very fun. Well, yes. So Evolution 219, you're doing the. So you're taking apart the switches and all that kind of stuff. You're doing that kind of stuff yourself. Maybe it's something worth talking to the Tech Bandits about. So Evolution 219, if you've got any stuff about that you think might be sort of useful for teaching the kids to not think of these things as little black boxes that they shouldn't play with, which is the frustration that I have that got me to start Tech Bandits in the first place. I'm going to give you my email, davidihewlett@gmail.com. That is my sort of forward-facing, internet-facing email, and sometimes I answer it. I'm sure there will be a few people who will laugh at me for that, but sometimes I do. If there was tech that we didn't have that you could use from Stargate Universe, what would it be from Stargate Universe? The idea of body switching with those stones, I'll take those. I'll take that for sure. God, all the tech on Stargate Universe looked so freaking cool, I gotta say. Like, just the builds on that stuff were just... They spent so much money on that. So much money. I just got back from Flanagan's live stream. Oh, really? He's so bored. Oh, poor guy. So he's literally stuck in a hotel room for 14 days, right? Definitely the Magic Atlantis scanners, really. Mighty Master Cal, why it a Twitch thing they... What? Ugh, it's just scrolled by. Turtle says, sorry I'm late. Had to go to the office today. Well, no, that's good. You got to earn a living. Do that while you can. There's already been a capture card for the 3DS and N3DS already. The thing with a capture for them is they are not external. Replicators will invade the Earth. Look, if it's going to happen, Doomwalker, it'll happen in 2020, right? Hello, Doomwalker, by the way. Thank you for bringing your Doom to our lovely chat. What is it? I think they might be the Stargate fictional universe world as a whole. I see. I just finished bringing SGU, and the stones were commonly used. Yeah, they use them all the time. I got very confusing, I've got to say, but yes. Sci-Fi Sadie, I do not play The Sims, but I think maybe I should begin to, because I'm quite impressed with them as a sort of a tool for speaking to the Tech Bandits. Specifically, a lot of we've got two of these London bandits who unfortunately we've not been able to talk to because they're in London, and I've had to move things till after school because obviously the kids are back at school now. So no worries. Doomwalker, thank you for having me. You're so polite for a Doomwalker. Thank you. Oh no. James Gurney's discovered that Baldur's Gate 3 is out. And now we've just lost James now. Thanks for coming by, James. It was a pleasure. But still not made by Nintendo. Right. Exactly. So these things aren't... So basically, Evolution 219, what is the company? What's the name of the company that you sort of... You're saying it's a double-edged sword because you're now selling the stuff as well. What's the company you're selling it through? Off the subject. Sorry. Do you know... where I would be able to find a Stargate ring like the one on your squirrel cam? What, like what, like this, this kind of thing. 3D print. 3D print's the best way to go. There's some just beautiful 3D prints out there that you can get. Go to Thingiverse. And if you don't have a 3D printer, you can either get someone else to print it out for you, or there's a number of services where you can actually just where you can have it printed for you for not crazy amounts of money. So, but honestly, the best way to go is, Evo Capture One. You sell via Twitter? Really? That's interesting. Okay. Let me just copy and paste. Twitter. Hello, little Twitter. Hello, Twitter. What do we got here? I'm looking you up. Right now. Now, are you going to get? Is this going to affect you? This recent, they've just arrested these guys for doing basically mod stuff, right? Excuse me as I hiccup and burp into the microphone. And again, oh my God, excuse me. Dental problems. Ooh, dental problems. That's horrible. You should talk to, you got to talk to Pac-Mom about that, about your dental problems. Okay. Evo Capture. We are installers of Nintendo DS and 3DS capture cards. Oh, that's kind of cool. All right, well, I'm now following you. Okay. It's kind of interesting. I'm just curious to know how that works. Do you have videos of what you do? Is there like, I guess maybe not, because I guess that would sell. I guess that would sort of like, or is it open source stuff? This is why you pay extra to ensure your packages and shipping. Interesting. Oh, that is cool. Oh, look at that. So you can have two daisy-chained controller mods combined with... Wow. This stuff is neat. Huh. Very cool. That's got to be fun to work on. So how low level does this stuff have to get? I mean, how deep are you digging to make this stuff happen? You did miss someone's dental issues, Pac-Mom. Evolution 219. Not all, as my mods don't allow access to piracy. I see. Got it. But you're still, I imagine, I guess, breaking the usage agreement or something on these things? I mean, which I got to say I don't agree with. But anyways, Daniel Jackson is not in his final form. What do we got? I've heard the person that made the new 3DS capture card went bankrupt and no longer makes installs. And I heard the software for it worked well, but was also easy to crash too. I don't know, Krillin. It's interesting. I suggest that you have the bandits build each discrete computer logic gate circuits out of transistors so that they learn how it all works. They are very easy to build and easy to understand, and then show them how to put them together to do useful things with the CPU. Yeah, Mr. Clean Tracy, that's fantastic. A lot of this stuff is very hard to do virtually, and that's right now what I've discovered is it was sort of a revelation. We started doing these tech bandits and the game bandits. We started tech bandits, and then I added another day because I'm a glutton for punishment. Can't do one day a week. Why not do two? So I started doing the game bandits, and what I've discovered is because we're now in their territory. Like this is their world. Streaming, chatting, Discord, all this kind of stuff. This is the world they live in. And it's been kind of eye-opening to me because I realized that the club is not just about technology. It's about them being able to converse with each other about this stuff and share their dreams and share their concerns and in some cases overshare. But I just think it's a sort of a little community that's kind of neat. And I have conversations with them now in the neighborhood, the local kids, where we're continuing conversations we were having online, which is kind of neat. So it's sort of blurring the lines for me as well. And it's just kind of neat. But yeah, I love that transistor thing. In fact, Mr. Clean Tracy, I'm going to put that I'm going to clip that and put that in my suggestions folder because I'm so organized. I'm not organized at all. In fact, I moved off of Evernote. I love Evernote. Love it. But what I don't love is that I have to pay for it every month. So I thought, I'll go to OneNote because that's, free and it's Microsoft, so how bad could it be? It's just not the same. One of the biggest features that I love about the paid version of Evernote is that you can search in PDFs. And of course, all of my scripts and all of the sides that I get, sides being the just the pages of the scenes you're doing that day or the audition or whatever. They're all PDFs, right? So if you can search in them, it's very easy to find your lines or find the script for the day, or look up, other places that your character shows up, so that you can, you can you can sort of see the chronology of what your character is supposed to be doing and stuff. Let me just do this. So I realize I haven't included your username in there, Mr. Clean Tracy. You want to make sure you get credit when I start using this stuff. All right. How we doing? We are... Lenny Cool says hello. Lenny, we're cool. Welcome, Lenny Cool. Pac-Man, is Noodles done with her build? No, that's the problem. Again, because of this whole COVID isolation thing, because of her school, my schedule, and the frickin' weather, it sucks for that. So, yeah. In fact, I'm thinking about pulling out the walls in the basement, just opening it all up so that it's just a bigger space. I can't really do it in the garage because it's just too cold and miserable. And if it rains, it's wet. So that is, oh my God, that is a Kickstarter. Talking about Wyvern Kickstarters. I'd like to do a Kickstarter to turn my garage into a makerspace, because that would be freaking epic. And one day I should stop talking about it and actually do it. The entire industry puts full force in fighting piracy. As long as you don't do anything that comes near that, you can break EULA all you want. They're mostly non-enforceable. Yeah, Grove Spaz, it's a good point. So as long as you're not, pirating stuff, they don't really care, and not selling it. It does bother me a bit that, that we're not supposed to be able to play with the things that we've bought. I mean, to me, as good as I bought it, excuse me. I'm really looking forward. Baz is taking us out for dinner tonight. Now, we're not going to go into the restaurant, I've been promised, but we might sit outside under some heaters. There's a local restaurant that we love to support, and I thought it was really cute that Baz's first suggestion was to go and have killer calamari. We call it killer calamari because Baz and I went there one night together without Jane. Jane was out with friends or something, and I'm antisocial. So Baz and I went to dinner at this place, and we had the calamari, and the calamari is delicious, except that Baz, I think I made Baz laugh while he was eating the calamari, and he started choking on the calamari. I literally had to get up and Heimlich the kid. So from then on in, we called it Killer Calamari. What else we got here? Yeah, I find the Microsoft stuff both great and frustrating at the same time. I love Excel, love it. It just I don't know how what's it called, Sheets or whatever it's called, the Google version of it adds up to it now, but. My God, the stuff you could do with Excel is, I scratch the surface on that. But basically, it's probably the most used big data tool out there. I mean, it's not even big data, but the idea that, there's so many tools built into Excel now that you could just, it's amazing. I don't think it's nearly as good, but of course it's also free, which makes a big difference. Can you post a picture of your calamari? It's my favorite. I will try to post a picture of the killer calamari, Amazon. It's a very lightly battered, sort of Italian fried. It's very, very nice. Is the Iron Ham account on Discord yours so I can send pictures? Yes, Evolution 219. Absolutely. It is. Let me dive in there, and I can have a look at the pictures too. It seems unfair otherwise. I'm not sure why I'm talking like this. It's really disturbing for anybody who might be from these regions. Okay, so I'm looking at the pictures. So actually, there should be a pictures section to Iron Ham TV. Oh, they're a little far away from my new glasses. Look at that. Oh. What do we got? Ooh, what's that? Ooh. Good PCB out of my Chinese CNC milling. Ooh, Gniff's got some cool stuff going there. I like that. Happy birthday hammer from the... Oh, look at that. Offstad's got a nice little Cal fuzzy happy birthday hammer. Evolution 219. Oh, look at the... Ooh. So wait a sec, you're... So, interesting. So you're tying into the existing Nintendo boards, and then you're tying the existing Nintendo boards into some kind of a video capture device, which then exports to a PC, or is it Wi-Fi? Is it an actual hardwired in there? And I love that you've got Rick as your avatar, by the way. Baz and I are huge Rick and Morty fans. I would go so far as saying, good God, it really is turning into ASMR if I keep burping into the microphone. I apologize. Um, yeah, USB to PC, exactly. That is cool, though. So, Evolution, how do you figure that stuff out? I mean, surely Nintendo doesn't let this stuff out easily. So there must be just, I guess there are some kind of sort of instructions out there somewhere for this stuff, or what, not that I would be capable of doing this stuff. But what's kind of neat though is I like the way so you're soldering onto, like, basically jumpering onto all of the little connections. That's amazing. It looks beautiful too, I got to say. I mean, I know it's silly, but this aesthetically, it's got a nice look to it as well. I don't know how to share these. Can I share these links? Copy link. If I copy the link and paste it into here, will it work? Will that work? Check. Does this work? All right. I think that's the. Now, if I click that, will it go where I want? Bertley, how are you, Bertley? Killer calamari. Oh boy, Doomwalker. That's like a dad joke. Don't fart in an Apple store since they don't have windows. Very good. Total dad joke. And one that I'm sure I will share with. Oh, someone had a really good one the other day. Oh, and I thought, I must remember that. That's a very good joke to use later. No, forgotten it. There's so many of us here. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? I Love Stargate Girl says, I should be able to share any link. You should be able to share any link. Yeah, I think that was it. Oh God, no puns. No puns. Ruby K. Is that Ruby K's weakness? That's Ruby K's kryptonite, is puns. With the DS capture card, you have to do it wired. I have read that built-in Wi-Fi on the DS consoles are not good enough to do it wirelessly. I see. How does a computer get drunk? It takes screenshots. Doomwalker, you're on a roll. Petrovich is laughing even. Hello, Petrovich. Nethalis, I'm never going to get that right. Yay, got Discord working on my PC. Oh, fantastic. Good. Was it Cal? Did Cal help you? Okay. Wired is way better. Well, generally wired is better anyways, right? I mean, like, that's like we've got, Wi-Fi galore throughout, Wi-Fi on repeaters and all sorts of stuff. The reality is I don't know if you can see behind me. I still ended up, shoving cables through can I zoom on that? Let me see if I can zoom in on that a bit. Dun, dun, dun. That's my wanted poster. If you can see that, those are all, those are Ethernet cables coming out from 2 floors up, I might add. So yeah, I'm going to go back wide again. Back wide again. I've also got to get better cameras for this, because the reality is it's one of the things I'm struggling with is all the camera stuff. I got to talk to Barnacles about this. Barnacles, not Barnacles, sorry. Barnacles. No problem, Cal. Figured it out. They told me to get a life, but I haven't found a working URL. Okay. I've looked into it, and I have gathered Nintendo skimps out on the great Wi-Fi. They do it where it is good enough. I see. Did you see Rodney's Musk cologne image edit I did? I did see that, Offset. Lovely. What a pleasant aroma that would be. Oh, wow, there's all sorts of images in there now. That's very cool. How did you get into this, Evolution? How did you get into this modding stuff? You were doing it yourself, and then what? Friends said, hey, I want to do that. Deathless is not as thick as I thought I was. I'm always amazed if I ever get anything working. Santa will give what? Santa will give COVID to what? The pedagogue. Oh boy, this is a word I always love. Pedagogic. I'm not going to be able to say it. The pedagogical approach for Scratch is really interesting. Is that they don't actually articulate clear learning objectives for what they do at MIT, but on the whole, it's just a programming language, and you have to rely on a curriculum around it to make it effective in learning something. I haven't yet seen a really effective curriculum uses. They don't have enough scaffolding integrated to the UI, and you can't really layer over it. Nick Bering and Lilifen are talking about Scratch, which I love, by the way. It's a type of Scratch programming that my robots use. So these robots are all programmed with a kind of a robo Scratch, which is basically just a Scratch program. You drag and drop. I mean, I really believe that there's an awful lot of hey, Tideful. What? We're bringing out the trolls. What's happened? Who 19 messages? What was that about? Cal, what happened? Oh, I missed all the excitement. Um, yeah, with a proper curriculum, Scratch is amazing. I mean, the reality is with a proper curriculum, many things are amazing. The problem is that there's not enough hours in the day for a lot of these teachers and educators to learn this stuff, and there's not an interest in expanding the educational system that way. I mean, there's this like, oh, kids got to code, girls got to code, people of color have to code, have to learn coding. We got to learn coding. It's really important. The reality is, coding what? It doesn't matter. Like just being able to code doesn't help you. But having the brain, having the analytical brain, having the understanding of the whole, of what you're trying to build, is much more important. I think you can always learn how to do something specific once you know what you want to do, but you need to know what you want to do. And I worry that kids are being pushed into this, boring programming for things that probably won't exist in 5 years' time. Why not just get them using Scratch? Because they'll see results faster and be more likely to be excited about the prospect of programming as opposed to just bored sick. I took a computer programming. I took a computer programming course in high school for like 2 days because I got in there and I was doing basic on Commodore 64 and loving it. I walk in there and there's a Mac, Classic or whatever on the window, but we're given a bunch of punch cards and told to program with those. It killed it for me because I thought if I need to know this to be a computer programmer, forget it. I'm never going to be able to do this. Whereas if there'd been Scratch programming or even just that Mac Classic, even if I could have used that Mac Classic and played with that, or my Commodore 64, Basic, something, but Basic wasn't seen as a real programming language. It was laughed at by computer programmers and computer programming teachers. It was a snobbery attached to it that I think put me and many other people off programming. And I think the same thing's going to happen here. There's only a certain type of person and type of kid who's going to have, C programming or the like, that's going to be of any interest to them. Whereas with Scratch programming, I can drag and drop a bunch of things, and those robots will sing, dance, laugh, interact. I mean, and that's, to me, the point of the Tech Bandits. It's about inspiration, not about teaching. I'm not a teacher. I can't teach anything. I didn't even get through high school. But what I can do is see the things that I find exciting, and in that I'm operating at the level of about a 14-year-old anyways. That seems to work for kids 14 and under or around there. We'll see what happens as Baz gets older. I probably get more and more cringy. But the reality is, I was just really worried that we were worried that schools were worried so much about the proper education that they were missing out on the inspiration part. I lost interest in school very, very early. Like grade 4, I was done. I stopped working at school in grade 4. But I never stopped loving the whole process of learning. I look back on my life and go, oh God, I wish I was just learning that whole time because I would have learned so much. I did. I learned a lot about acting. I learned a lot about filmmaking. I learned a lot about interacting with people and business. And, the film and TV has just been like a freaking dream for me. It's been fantastic. COVID shuts us down for 6 months. I'm freaking out about money. And then as soon as we're able to film here, I get 2 jobs. I mean, like I can't get over how freaking lucky, how many horseshoes I've got in places I will not name. But I've never, ever lost that absolute love of figuring out how things work, pulling things apart. And I always thought not being able to put them together was a failure. And it is, definitely, in a traditional sense. But from a learning perspective, taking things apart and seeing how they work is, God, you learn so much stuff. And the fact that the kids were not doing that or were worried about doing that or were like, or that weren't even aware that you could do that. I mean, this is why I find Roombas in the garbage because nobody wants to pull them apart and see what's wrong. That was a moment for me that I will always remember. Is the first time in my history, that a robot was disposable. We had a disposable robot in the garbage. Someone had thrown out what to me is a dream invention. And I got to pull it apart and make it work again, and then bring it into school and have the kids run around with it. Um, we are. What is it? So what do we got going here? What's going on with? Oh, I can't keep track. My kids get great support learning tech at home. We're even streaming a robotic rover build project on Twitch. But I just feel so bad for friends and neighbors who have kids that are curious but no one to mentor them. Yeah. Or here's the other thing. Or but kids that aren't curious. What about them? Because I think you're innately curious. That one comes as a kid, you come in curious to school, and my fear is no, not in my fear. The certainty is that gets crushed by the school system in a huge portion of the population, and that really really bothers me because then they're going to end up in jobs they don't like, earning money just to make it to the weekend, and I can't think of anything worse. So yeah, I took my PS3 apart too, and my PS2, and my PS1, and my Sega Dreamcaster, and my uh, Merlin, and my electronic tennis, and I took them all apart. I love it. I loved doing it. Yes, the problem with tech is that equipment is so expensive it outdates too quickly. Cy Scott, yes, exactly. And again, that's the reason with Tech Bandits. That's why I make it a donation thing. Is that if people can't afford to do it, then they can do that. That any kid is welcome to Tech Bandits. That's the point. Now, as it works out, I don't know the logistics of how they would join us at this point, but it's open to people, and if people have kids who do want to join us, then absolutely they should, and they should let me know. But again, it has to be just for the kids. I can't have the parents as well. I don't want it to go down. I don't want them stuck. I don't want the kids stuck in Stargate discussions when they should be talking about the stuff that's relevant to them. So I'm pretty adamant that I want the voice chat Discord to be relegated only to specific guests and to the kids that join us. So if you have kids who want to do this stuff, and also that stream of you building stuff, like let me know what that, if you wouldn't mind giving me that that link, I'd be very interested to see how that works. Yeah, the BBC Micro. Look, I was getting those fantastic Commodore 64 magazines, and then hand typing those pages and pages of code to get games going. So you started repairing DSs and then moved on to modding. Yes, it's so funny. So I was building PCs for myself. Ended up then doing it for other people. Got into hard drive recovery because I was sort of fascinated with the idea that these hard drives contained information that was far more valuable to people than the PCs themselves. But again, there's when acting jobs come up every so often, it tends to break up the flow of a business. But I loved that stuff. I'm still sort of obsessed with data. Curious about almost everything. That's good, Sapphire Sadie. It's as it should be. School's always too focused on memorization. Well, and that's another thing, Petrovich. Memorization, I think we need to start integrating the tools that we have available on a daily basis, like the iPhone. Like, I was really ticked off when my son's school, which I'm paying for in order to keep, to keep him in smaller classes and getting the attention he needs, because he, if he's ignored, he will ignore his education. They've banned phones. You're not allowed phones in the school. They all have to be in your locker and all that kind of stuff. And I understand that from a distraction standpoint. But at the same time, we need to teach these kids how to use the technologies that are available. We are using them, both for good, bad, using them well, using them badly, whatever. But the reality is that just by taking it away from them and saying, like, well, that's not something you use in school. Why the hell not? Absolutely, it's something that should be used in school. They should be using Google and learning how to use it properly and learning how to question those results. How to to back up their understanding of things by using different sources. There should be a certain amount of memorization, maybe when it comes to languages and stuff. But again, let's be using Duolingo. Let's be using the tools that are available. And that really bothers me. Fumbles McStupid, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Fumbles McStupid. Same birthday as my son. Happy birthday, Fumbles McStupid. Happy birthday, Fumbles McStupid, to you. Happy birthday, Fumbles McStupid. Best birthday ever, because it's also it's also Bratlett's birthday today. It is, in fact, Baz's birthday today. He is 13 years old. I am 40 years older than he is. I'm just going to say that. So, yes, happy birthday, Fumbles with Stupid. Thank you for spending your birthday with us. Even, I'm sure there must be other things you could be doing with your time, and we welcome you. I'm going to just check my little uptime here and see. Wow. Okay, I've been nattering on for 2 hours. And my son will be home shortly, and my wife may need some assistance with cakes and things, so I should probably take my leave of you. Victory shout, New Zealand! Why would you arrive now? I'm just about to leave. I would love to have spoken to you about New Zealand, because I freaking love New Zealand. There was an amazing story I heard from a friend of ours who has emigrated back to... Emigrated? Has returned to New Zealand, the land from which he spawned. I was just talking about how seriously and wisely the New Zealand is taking this whole COVID thing. So he's in California, in LA, where we knew him. Actually, he's a really interesting guy. He started a business doing stock photography once it moved online. Like once all this sort of stock, Shutterstock and all these different stock photo companies, iStock Photo and stuff started up. He started arranging photo sessions for him and like 10, 20, 30 other people. And they would fly off to a destination and take lots of photos of like a desert island, or they would fly to or they would drive to some kind of a factory. They get all sorts of shots of factory stuff, and then they would then be able to sell these things on iStock or whatever. Just really smart guy. Did a lot of day trading as well. Anyways, decided to move back to New Zealand. And in doing so, they would fly back to New Zealand, at which point, they would fly to somewhere in New Zealand. Didn't matter where you flew into New Zealand. You would then be picked up by a smaller plane, flown to a hotel by the military to do your 14-day quarantine, at which point you were then tested, and you could then you were then flown back to your airport of landing, and then you were sort of free to go. But just how smart they are to do that kind of stuff, because look at that, New Zealand is in a much better situation than a lot of other places that don't have these things. Geezer Geek, thank you very much. 16 months. Have we been at it for this long? Could it be? Heidi ho, good doctor. I like that. Or as I call myself, the other doctor. And New Zealand is also, yes, it doesn't hurt that New Zealand is absolutely freaking gorgeous and bad. We would live there in a second. The only problem is it's like, it's $6,000 away from everybody. And in this kind of a situation, I would just never see my parents. So the White House has more people with it than... Wait a second. Is that true, Doomwalker? Come on, let's verify that. Is it true that the White House has more COVID patients than New Zealand? I'd be very curious to know about that. Oh my God, not to start anything political, Cal, I apologize in advance for what I'm about to say. So I made my first political post the other day. I have never done this before, but having watched the debates and having seen some very, very good friends of mine post their sort of dismay with the way politics in America are progressing right now, I had to say something because look, whether you think I'm right or not, I didn't feel like I couldn't voice my absolute disgust for the way this president has handled things. Everything, not everything. I'm sure there are some good policy things that he's done. I understand that there are some people who are going to support him because he is a Republican. I do not understand. How that man is representing the America that I so dreamed of becoming a part of and was eventually able to become. I was not shocked by the response. I knew there was going to be a backlash to me saying that. I know that there are Stargate fans who are Republicans and who are fans of the president. But I disagree. I strongly disagree. And again, seeing him come out and pull his mask off and not obey the 14-day quarantine that everyone else is supposed to do is very is I think disgusting, absolutely disgusting, frankly. And and I know there were people who were saying like, oh my God, oh great, you've just insulted like half of your fans. I'm not insulting anyone other than maybe the president, but only because I've just seen the way he's responded to this stuff and the tweets, and I could not be quiet about it anymore. I am not a political creature in any way. I don't know enough about this stuff. I can I can only judge him on his actions and the things he has said and that I've seen him say, and I've been very, very careful to try to spread out my news gathering. I've tried to I've gone to the Breitbart News. I've gone to the One News America. I've gone to Fox. I've gone to New York Times. I've tried to run the gamut, because one of the things that really bothered me was how sort of isolated and insular my understanding of the news was, because of my love of the New York Times. Which I always thought was a very erudite, very sort of Joe Flanagan was a big fan of the New York Times. He got me into it, really. I shouldn't say that. That's not true. No, there was an old girlfriend of mine got me into the New York Times review of books, and that sort of got me into it. But there's a danger in having only one news source, and there's a danger in having only one perspective on this stuff. So I think it is important to be called out and questioned on this stuff, including my own thoughts on this stuff. There was some policy stuff that people brought up, which was fascinating to me, which I think is really very interesting and good things to know. But to be told that I was not being respectful of a man who has shown no respect for anyone who's thought differently of him, and who refuses to call out white supremacists. I mean, that is absolutely. He was asked point blank whether he would condemn white supremacists, and he didn't do it. And I'm sorry, but that not that was the last straw for me. It was one of the many. But it was insane to me. The debate was insane to me. Watching this guy just spitting out hate and lies and interrupting, and it just. Sorry, that was it. So I'm not going to apologize for the tweet. I'm sorry that it came to that. I'm sorry that it has come to this, that I feel this way. This is something I usually try to avoid for obvious reasons. And I don't want to be, I'm not going to ban anybody because they support Trump. But I do think it's important that any debate about this stuff is done in a respectful way. And some people are saying, look, I was not respectful. And I don't suppose I really was. My point about the Republican thing is that I'm a registered Republican. Like, I have been a registered Republican since I could vote. But I have not always chosen, in fact, I've never chosen to vote that way since I've been allowed to vote. Because right or wrong, I vote for the people I believe in. Or in this case, I'm being forced to vote for a party that is a better, more likely alternative. So, that's sort of the way it is. I'm not dissing all Republicans. I'm dissing the people who are claiming to be Republicans, who are standing behind this man who doesn't seem to stand for any kind of true Republican value. So there you go. Yes, there you go. Yeah, look, I don't think it's funny. So there's a lot of people who believe actors shouldn't have opinions and that they should just, whatever. It's like, go back to Canada, all that kind of stuff. I mean, but again, that's the kind of attitude that I think is very frustrating. And I think that what do you mean go back to Canada? I'm an American citizen. I have earned the right to be an American citizen. I have, and in some ways I may know more about America than some Americans if my Canadian status is any indication, because I had to do a test to become an American that tested me on my understanding of the American system. I've never had to do that. Well, yeah, I've never had to do that for Canada. I became a Canadian citizen when I was too young to do that. So there's a good chance that, I know that my wife knows more about Canada than I do, because she's just become a Canadian citizen. So she knows, because she had to take these tests. So, what is very respectful? Holy cow, you handled this so well. I'm so proud of you all. Yeah, no kidding. What? Whoa. Eddie Van Halen died? No. Did he? Oh my God. I'm tired of voting for the lesser of two evils. Yeah, no, I'm tired of voting for straight white old guys. You know what I mean? And I'm one of them. It annoyed me those who said that someone who's an actor can't have an opinion. That's an interesting thing. I don't understand. I don't entirely understand that. Although I also do understand actors do a lot of preaching, and I hope, God, I really hope I'm not coming across as preaching here. I'm truly not telling anyone to do anything other than vote, and to do their homework, and to just not blindly follow people because you think they're right. And I absolutely, I really do need to look for the good in what's happening here as well. I find that hard right now, and I'm really worried that this guy may be undermining the very system that got him into power in the first place. The fact of the matter is, if he gets voted in again, then he's. I mean, this not my president thing. I don't agree with. I mean, the reality is, if he is legally voted into a position of power, then that's what that's whether I agree with it or not. That's what happens, and I hope that is the attitude that most people have about this stuff. Canada's too cold. Not all of Canada's too cold, James. Not all of Canada. Um, Looking it up, Eddie Van Halen died of cancer. Really? Another cancer. Jesus. Throat cancer. Wow, I wonder if it was anything, was it related at all to COVID? I mean, I have run, nothing but love, and please vote. I have to run. Oh, David Blue, when did you get in here? Oh my God, you must have come in while I was pontificating. Thank you, David. You run, buddy. David Blue is going to be playing. He's going to be showing me basically how to play this damn Stargate game. He'll be way ahead of me on that. I love Canada. Been there twice. Big, beautiful, friendly, like a bigger New Zealand. It's very true. The west coast of Canada very much reminds me of New Zealand. It's a wonderful place. You've got some wonderful politics up there in New Zealand, I got to say. I'm very impressed with New Zealand's political situation. Eastern Canada, freezing cold winters. Yeah, it's true, Scramlink. It's true. But God, Eastern Canada is freaking beautiful, and the people are amazing. I love it out east, I got to say. He's already made it clear that he will not leave peacefully. He was asked during a conference and said, well, we'll have to see. Yeah, that does worry me. Yes, I love Stargate Girls. Very excited because David Blue's here. It is always a pleasure to have David Blue here as well. David Blue, by the way, has his own stream. So I love Stargate Girl. You should go and watch his stuff. I'm sure it's far more exciting than me. Possible alien life found on Venus. I did hear about that. I also heard that Russia claimed it as their own. Apparently, Venus is a Russian planet. If you've not found David Blue's Twitch streams, you should come watch his streams also. He's awesome to watch. It is fun, isn't it? He's good. He's very good. Yeah, it's... Russia planted their flag. I think the Doomwalker. I think actually didn't they crash landed a vehicle on it, didn't they? I mean, if you can claim the planet just by throwing things at it, that'd be great, wouldn't it? We should start hurling things at it and claiming it from McKay. Planet McKay, Planet Rodney, Planet Meredith. We got a million, or Meredith 0285. You know what I mean? That'd be kind of fun. All right. The Expanse is fun. Yes. I read the first book of The Expanse, and I've got to read more of them because I as always prefer the book. But and I've also been watching. What else have I been doing? I have been watching Raised by Wolves, which I've really enjoyed too. I mean, it's cheesy, but I'm beginning to get into it a bit. Slow-mo mood is still going. Cal is Raised by Wolves. Is it any good? It's good and bad. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm not sure that I don't know if I'd recommend it. I don't know how long it'll go on for. Oh, really? So all the books are great. Nemesis Games especially. Okay. Well, I've read the first one ages ago. I must return and read the second for sure. Oh my God, that's right. David's doing is doing an SGU watch party. Shoot, and we're supposed to do an SGA watch party. I don't want to clash with him. Amazon SGU watch party. That's interesting. Can we do that with SGA? I mean, should that be how we're doing a watch party on Amazon? I mean, I've never tried doing that. That could be kind of fun. Um, David's on Saturday. Okay, so we could be on Sunday. So you'd have Saturday and Sunday. Perfect. Okay, so SGU watch party on Saturday. The SGA party would be on Sunday then. Very good. Okay. I have a very different question if you don't mind. When you first became a parent, were you ever times you thought, I'm not gonna make it? Where it just became too much for you for a while? Grove Spaz, interesting. No. No, to be honest, no. I was terrified of the idea and was really, I mean, first off, I've got Jane, who's far smarter and far lovelier than I could ever hope for in my life. And so that's just always been amazing. Like, it's just, if you've got a good partner like that, not even a good partner, a better partner than yourself, that's certainly the way to go. I highly recommend it. Marry above your pay grade for sure. And I did with Jane. She's just amazing. Not to mention gorgeous. That helps too. So I had that support all the time, but I definitely, the first couple of years, I struggled with what it was to be, like, I struggled for that connection with the kid. I felt like, oh, okay, so parenting, that makes sense. Parenting is a responsibility. That's what it feels like. The first couple of years, that's what it felt like. It felt like a responsibility. Like, I loved the kid because it's my kid, but there was a part of me that was worried that I didn't have that connection that I thought I should. And then, oh my God. And then after a couple of years, that's it. I absolutely smitten. I mean, they become these little humans and they have their own thoughts and their own laughter and their own perspective on stuff. And you're absolutely hooked. So yeah, I mean, 13 years, it's been absolutely lovely. And yes, I get incredibly frustrated. Yes, of course, I scream, I shout, I McKay all the time around this poor kid. I mean, I'm probably an awful dad in most ways. But I love it, and I try, and I adore him. I think he's wonderful. Not without problems and not without things that I've done wrong for sure. But no, I never felt I couldn't handle it. No, I shouldn't say that. Maybe I always feel like I can't handle it, but I do. And that sort of, I guess that fear of really effing up is what keeps you going on that stuff. So I've completely changed my mind halfway through. Yes, I always worry that I won't be able to do it, and yet you always do. You end up, some responses you take are the wrong ones when you look back on it, but you have to make a decision at times. But I love it. It's honestly, when we moved up here, I said to Jane that I was happy to take on more of the parenting responsibilities because she wanted to get her, she wanted to be a producer all of her life, and she looked after me all the way through Stargate and before that even. She handled everything so that I could just focus on the work. And so I've tried here to sort of do the same. Like, I try to focus more on that stuff so that she's got more time to focus on her work, because I just think that's important that we both have our lives, and her dream is always to produce films, and so I thought if I could help make that happen, that would make me an amazing person. It was less likely that she was going to leave. I felt like I had no connection to my firstborn daughter right at the beginning. She's now almost 10, a wonderful young lady, and some superb thoughts and opinions of her own. Dave. Yeah, I mean, it really is weird. The first year is really strange because you're just kind of like, what the? I don't want to break it. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a, but yeah, anyways. What kind of film does she burn for? She wants to make important and personal stuff, I think, is her approach to filmmaking. She wants to make, she wants to do more of the the Hurt Lockers and the I'm trying to think of other films that I mean, she's a big Tim Burton fan, which I guess is a little different, but I think she wants to make art, and she wants to make stuff that makes people think. And I think that's that's difficult, or it has been difficult up until now. What I think might change because of the pandemic is that I think we might start seeing smaller films. Those British films that Jane was raised on and loves. We may have to return to those because they're cheaper to make. These $100-200 million films. I mean, they're very difficult to make and market and make their money back if you're not doing theater releases, and a lot of the theaters are struggling right now. So, all right, you know what? I got to wrap this up because I feel myself fading, and I also know that it's after 4, and I don't want to be on the interwebs when my son comes home. I want to be there for him. With Bertley, we always wanted another kid. We were always going to go for 2. We were going to go for the set, but we're too old. We're too old now, I'm afraid. It seems impossible for us to have more children. And as it turns out, probably a good thing because God knows this one's tiring enough as it is. 3 teenage daughters. I can only imagine. I had 3 younger. I grew up with 3 younger sisters. I now have 5 younger sisters. So I think it's harder for girls, honestly, especially now, with the whole social media stuff. I think it's harder for women in this environment. I don't even think. I know it's more difficult for women in this environment. So I shall definitely tell a happy birthday to Baz from the chat. Victory shout, New Zealand. I'm very glad that you found us. By all means, come back. John P7, thank you very much. Another great stream. Mineral, Pixie Rose. How are you, Pixie Rose? I hope things are well. You should raid Duke of Nukes. Ooh, wow. Great Decepticon voice, indeed. My Decepticon voice. I should use my Decepticon voice on the kid. You shall go to sleep now, son. Stream was average at best. Let's not exaggerate. You're right, Cal. Whatever. Thank you, Cal, for looking after us through all of even my little political bent in there as well. If you're playing Stargate D&D, let me know if I can get involved. I will once you can get involved. Right now, this is organized by the Wyvern folks. So, but yeah, if we're going to continue doing it, we should totally do that. I think Frankensquatchy, I shared that self-made pilot, the homeschooled pilot, the other day. In fact, I mentioned how enjoyable it was to watch the fantastic Robert Picardo cleaning your webcam for you. Careful, David, you're getting carried away, and it'll be another 20 minutes. So true, Australian Llama. Okay, everyone. Steve Motuel. I'm so sorry, Steve Motuel, that you have joined us now, but I am about to leave. Please do join us next time. Tuesdays are basically the open chat, as I call it. Wednesdays, now later, 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Times, I'm doing my Tech Bandits. It's Wednesdays, and I think I'm going to probably change it to Monday, because Friday afternoons, who the heck wants to do after school Friday anything? Huge thanks to D-Stat, who has been here and said hello, but is probably busy because he always is. Huge thanks to D-Stat for being our sponsorship level Patreon. All of our Patreons, for that matter, for helping out with the Tech Bandits. All of the PayPal donations on thetechbandits.com. Much appreciated. And probably more than anything, I should say, thank you to the subscribers, because not only do you help the Tech Bandits, you give my wonderful son such joy and some pocket money, and I really, really appreciate it. So, everybody, thank you very much. Love to you all, and shall I say, until we geek again, cheerio! And is it? Oops, where's the button? I gotta find the button. So, cheerio and huzzah!